Chapter 46:10. Why? Didn't I tell you? Then I'm really low-key. Ling Xiao kept the lantern and smiled faintly. He knew that other than the three people beside him, everyone else wanted the lantern. However, he was not afraid. Whoever wanted to take his things could only wait for bad luck. Let's go. Xingyu retracted his gaze. If we can walk out of the Yellow Springs path, we will also have a chance to get an emperor weapon with 9 dragon patterns. He lifted his foot and walked forward. As they were leaving, they suddenly saw a gloomy palace in front of them. The door of the palace was already rotten. The strong, moldy smell made people feel very uncomfortable. Boom! Xingyu smashed the door with a punch. Anyway, there was no restriction on the door. He did not want to touch such a dirty thing with his hands. The moment the door opened, everyone was dumbfounded. In this gloomy hall, there were actually rays of bright light shining. Oh my God, it's a supreme-grade spirit stone. Supreme-grade spirit stones were rare even in the chaotic desert. Other than the higher-ups of the 4 regions and 9 worlds, most people would not be willing to use them. After all, 1 supreme-grade spirit stone was equivalent to 10 million high-grade spirit stones. The spiritual energy contained within it was extremely abundant. After reaching the divine physique realm, the effect of high-grade spirit stones was almost negligible. One had to use supreme-grade spirit stones. In this palace, there were at least tens of thousands of supreme-grade spirit stones. What did it mean to have tens of thousands of supreme-grade spirit stones? One had to know that the most powerful people in the 4 regions and 9 worlds would only consume 100 supreme-grade spirit stones every month. An emperor weapon with 9 dragon patterns was only worth 1,000 supreme-grade spirit stones. In theory, these supreme-grade spirit stones could buy 10 emperor weapons with 9 dragon patterns. Even a fool could see that the value was so high. How do we split it? Xingyu asked. Of course, we split it equally. The half-step divine physique realm old man said. Split it equally? Are you worthy? Wang Quan said domineeringly as he looked at the old man with disdain. I don't care how you split it. My boss will take at least half of it. Xiao Jin said. Why? The others were unhappy. Do you still need to ask? If it wasn't for our boss, we wouldn't have been able to come out of the tomb. Xiao Jin said, Then the 4 of you will take 5,000, and we'll split the rest. Xingyu said after a moment of silence, Bullsh *T, aren't you embarrassed? 5,000 belongs to boss alone. As for the remaining 5,000, I, Sister Cold Plum, and Brother Silver also want to split it. Xiao Jin's words were very direct, not giving Xingyu any face. Ling Xiao, don't be too greedy. How about you take 1,000 and we split the rest? Xingyu frowned and looked at Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao smiled. Originally, I thought that what Xiao Jin said was enough. Since you're not willing, I'll take a little more. 8,000. The remaining 2,000 will be divided among the 14 of you. You, don't push your luck. Zilin roared. What? Do you still want to fight? If you want, I'll accompany you to the end. Ling Xiao mocked. Zilin immediately shut his mouth. He clearly remembered how terrifying Ling Xiao was. How scary was Cold Plum? Step forward if you don't agree. Ling Xiao said coldly. To be honest, I'm being merciful by giving you these 2,000. If you're still not satisfied, don't even think about getting a single piece. Ling Xiao, do you think you have more people? You only have 4 divine physique echelon warriors. We have 6 divine physique echelon warriors. Me, Lang Qingqing, Yu Chen, Wang Quanbadeo, Haishi Xiao, and Zilin. Do you think you're a match for us? Shang Yu wasn't willing to compromise on this matter. The half-step divine physique echelon warriors were basically ignored. This was what Ling Xiao said. After encountering the treasure, this originally weak group started to fight among themselves. You'll know when you try. Ling Xiao sneered. The atmosphere suddenly became tense. Suddenly, the image of a teleportation array appeared in the center of the hall. It attracted everyone's attention. In the next moment, 15 undead spirit warriors appeared in the teleportation array. The number was exactly the same as before. Furthermore, all of them were terrifying existences wearing blood-colored battle armor. The undead spirit emperor's personal guards! Xiao Jin exclaimed and looked at Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao frowned and said coldly, "Stop fighting among yourselves. Let's work together and get rid of these personal guards first. As for the spirit stones, whoever kills more will get more. Is that okay?" At this moment, Ling Xiao knew that they couldn't fight among themselves. These were 15 terrifying undead spirit clan warriors. Every one of them was at the first level of the divine physique echelon. Moreover, there are numbers on their bodies. From 1 to 15, they were probably guarding these supreme grade spirit stones. Naturally, the others wouldn't reject Ling Xiao's suggestion. In the face of such powerful enemies, if they continued to fight among themselves, there would only be one outcome: total annihilation. But there are 15 enemies and only 14 of us. Moreover, a few half-step divine physique echelon warriors won't be able to handle them. Xingyu frowned and said, "The 4 of you, work together to restrain one undead spirit." Ling Xiao arranged. All right, if they couldn't even do this, then these 4 half-step divine physique echelon warriors should get lost. Xingyu, Yu Chen, Wang Quan, Lang Qingqing, Hai Shixiang, Zilin, and Bai Yinzalong. The 7 of you will deal with 1 each. Although they weren't used to Ling Xiao giving orders, they could only listen at this moment, because they had no other choice. For the remaining 7, Cold Plum and Xiao Jin will be responsible for 2 each. Is that okay with you? Ling Xiao asked. No problem. All right, I'll deal with the last 3. Let's begin. After Ling Xiao finished his arrangements, everyone had already rushed out, each facing their own opponents. Ling Xiao immediately enveloped the 3 first-level divine physique echelon undead clan martial artists within his martial soul barrier. This insignificant ant dares to face the 3 of us. The 2 of you don't have to do anything. I'll do it. The warrior with the number 3 walked towards Ling Xiao with disdain and indifference in his eyes. Ling Xiao was stunned for a moment that he could speak. However, he soon understood. Even the king of dead souls could speak, so there was no reason why the emperor's personal guard couldn't. Come on, little bastard. If you can hurt me, I'll let you go. Undead soul guard number 3 sneered. Really? Ling Xiao heaved a sigh of relief. Ha ha ha. This kid is indeed a good-for-nothing. Even if I don't use my hands, you're still no match for me. Let me tell you, we're the undead emperor's personal guards. With your strength, you're not even fit to clean our shoes. Undead soul guard number 3 was even more disdainful. At this moment, Ling Xiao made his move. Not his true self, but the demon lord. Ling Xiao knew clearly that it was impossible for him to win against 3 first-level divine physique echelon warriors. Therefore, he didn't plan to face the 3 of them head-on right from the start. He had to take advantage of their underestimation and kill one of them first. This way, it would be much easier to deal with the remaining 2. End of chapter. Chapter 46:11. Even undead guard number 3 was underestimated by Ling Xiao. Thus he lost his life. Ling Xiao suddenly transformed into demon Lord Ling Xiao. The East Victory demon sword instantly slashed at undead guard number 3. Too fast, too sudden, so fast that the other 2 undead guards couldn't even help in time. Undead guard number 3 even maintained his previous contempt and disdain. His head had already been pierced. Even the undead essence was taken out by Ling Xiao. Number 3. The other 2 undead guards only reacted at this moment. Unfortunately, it was too late. I'm going to kill you. Undead guard number 5 seemed to have a good relationship with number 3. Seeing that number 3 was killed, he pounced toward Ling Xiao crazily. The corners of Ling Xiao's mouth curled into a cold smile. Idiot! He suddenly took out the ghost lantern. A fire dragon engulfed number 5's entire body. One had to know that the ghost lantern was a treasure that could even burn a second-level divine body realm martial artist to death. Number 5 was only at the first-level divine body realm. How could he resist it? In an instant, another one was killed. Ling Xiao returned to his original body. Although such a battle was easy, it didn't do much to increase his original body strength. Therefore, Ling Xiao didn't plan to continue using it. He entered the black goat undead beast soul transformation state. He looked at the remaining undead guard indifferently. His body was marked with number 1, although these 15 undead guards had the same cultivation level. Their strength was also divided into strong and weak. The closer the number was to the front, the stronger it was. This number 1 was the most terrifying one among the 15 undead guards. Next, it's your turn. Ling Xiao looked at him and smiled faintly. You're really a cunning human and very dangerous. I give up resisting, just kill me. Number 1 closed his eyes, as if he had accepted the fate of death. Then I'll fulfill your wish. Ling Xiao smiled. Chi! His figure suddenly flashed, and the East Victory Sky sword in his hand suddenly pierced out. The speed of this attack was as fast as lightning. At the very least, martial artists below the second level of the divine body realm wouldn't be qualified to compete with him in terms of speed. The sword pierced his opponent's head. Blood splattered everywhere. If it were anyone else, they would probably be celebrating right now. Because he had killed his opponent, the battle had ended. However, Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with a sneer. He abruptly thrust the East Victory Heaven's sword to his side. It was faster and more powerful. Ding! As the cold light collided, a figure was forced back. You actually saw through my clone. Number 1 seemed very surprised. On the surface, there was no difference between his clone and his main body. Even if it was pierced, it would also bleed. This was because his clone was a blood clone. Regardless of whether it was his eyes or his soul power scanning, there was no difference at all. In the past, who knew how many martial artists had died at the hands of his blood clones? Therefore, his plan was very simple. It was to pretend to give up and let Ling Xiao kill him. Then, when the other party was not paying attention, he would suddenly attack. Kill Ling Xiao. The plan was perfect, and Ling Xiao had also successfully taken the bait. However, he didn't expect Ling Xiao to see through his scheme. What a joke! Ling Xiao was someone who had the Taiji eye. The Taiji eye could see through all pretenses. No matter how real that blood clone was, it still couldn't escape his eyes. Moreover, Ling Xiao was very cautious and cunning to begin with. How could he easily believe that number 1 would choose to commit suicide? It wasn't that easy for anyone to sneak up on him. He originally planned to beat him at his own game and make use of the other party's mentality that his scheme had succeeded to kill him. However, it seemed like his main body didn't have that much attack power. Also, this number 1 wasn't a fool. He was also very cautious. He had already prepared a way out. Didn't you say you wanted me to kill you? Why are you regretting it now? Ling Xiao looked at number 1 and mocked him. The surprise on number 1's face quickly disappeared, and he said indifferently, You're wrong. I only asked you to kill my clone. I don't regret it. You also did the same. Hee, you really know how to quibble. Why don't I stand here and let you kill me? Ling Xiao said with a smile. You stand there and let me kill you? Number 1 froze for a moment, then immediately shook his head and said, You're too cunning. I don't want to be like number 3 and number 5. I fell for your trick. Hee, thank you for the compliment. I'm really overwhelmed by the favor, Ling Xiao said with a smile. I didn't compliment you. You. The last word was because he was surprised. Before he finished speaking, Ling Xiao launched another attack. Usually it was him who schemed against others. He didn't expect that this time he would be schemed against by others. Ling Xiao's sudden attack was extremely fast. Escape light. There was almost no time interval between this move. The terrifying sword Qi directly pierced towards number one's head. Although number one had a blood clone, it was simply useless in front of Ling Xiao. This made number one extremely depressed. I thought I picked up a soft persimmon, but I didn't expect it to be a lump of iron. Swoosh! The sword light slid past his ear. He had already dodged very quickly, but half of his ear was still cut off. Fortunately, the undead spirit clan didn't feel pain. Otherwise, he would probably be screaming in pain now. Good boy, you're ruthless. Number one snorted coldly. A sickle appeared in his hand, and he charged towards Ling Xiao with it. Ding, 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 ding. The two of them constantly collided with the martial spirit barrier. Their speed was extremely fast. Every collision could make Ling Xiao vomit blood. It seems that with my current cultivation, it's too difficult to directly fight a first-level divine body realm martial artist with my original body. Thinking of this, Ling Xiao summoned the Sky Tyrant martial spirit without hesitation. It merged into his body. His strength instantly skyrocketed. At the same time, he released the Sun God's blood formation. He activated the second layer of bloody rat demon. His combat strength skyrocketed again. Even so, he was still at a disadvantage. But he wasn't as depressed as before. Ling Xiao didn't dare to underestimate number one at all. If it was Ling Xiao, the demon lord, he might be able to win easily. But with his original body, Ling Xiao, it would really take some effort. But seeing the energy in his cultivation increasing continuously, Ling Xiao felt that it was worth it. Every divine body realm martial artist he met now was the key to his cultivation breakthrough. Boom, boom, boom. All the battles in the main hall were in progress. There were a total of 11 battles. In order not to affect each other, everyone was relatively far away. This way, they could fight with peace of mind. Of course, everyone consciously avoided the supreme-grade spirit stones. Although supreme-grade spirit stones were very hard and not easy to destroy, accidents could still happen. It was better to be cautious. What was surprising was that this main hall clearly had some kind of restriction. When an attack hit the wall, it would suddenly disappear, as if it was sucked away by something. This also prevented the battle from causing too much commotion and destroying the main hall. Although Ling Xiao's battle was relatively easy, but the other battles were very tragic. They were basically playing with their lives. These 11 battles were basically evenly matched at the moment. The 4 half-step divine body realm martial artists relied on their Dharma treasures and didn't fall into a disadvantage for the time being. Chapter 46:12. Ling Xiao was most concerned about the battle between Cold Plum and Little Gold. After all, this was a 1-on-2 battle. Fortunately, the two of them were performing very well. Not only did they not seem to be at a disadvantage, they became more and more courageous. Seeing this, Ling Xiao was relieved. He focused on the battle with number one in front of him. Number one's greatest reliance was the blood clone. Unfortunately, this technique was worthless in front of Ling Xiao. This caused him to gradually be at a disadvantage in the battle. One had to know that the Sun God's blood formation could not only increase Ling Xiao's strength, it could also continue to weaken the opponent's strength. The difference between the two of them was huge. Gradually, number one felt that something was wrong. He was eager to end the battle quickly. I can only go all out. Number one was anxious. He, who had always been calm, finally lost his rationality in front of Ling Xiao. He knew that the blood clone was useless, but he still used it forcefully. In an instant, the martial soul barrier was almost completely occupied by the blood clones. There were hundreds of them. Humph! Ling Xiao snorted. He directly used the endless divine fist. The sky was filled with fist shadows. The blood clones that were hit were instantly shattered. You've been tricked. Number one's voice suddenly sounded from behind. He used the blood clone's ultimate profound meaning. This power Upanishad could divide his real body into two parts and mix them with the blood clones. Although the real body split would only have half of the original attack power. If the sneak attack succeeded, Ling Xiao would definitely die. The sickle in his hand slashed at Ling Xiao's neck. No. Number one's expression changed drastically because what the sickle targeted was obviously an illusion. It did not feel like a real body at all. Have you ever understood the power of the phantom of the holy ground? Ling Xiao's voice sounded from behind number one. The heavenly victory sword directly pierced through the opponent's head. Number one only had half of his strength, so naturally he was easily killed. The other half was also killed by Ling Xiao 10 minutes later. Since then, Ling Xiao had killed 3 first-level divine physique echelon undead personal guards. He had obtained 3 necromancy essences. He had already gathered 100 necromancer's essences after killing number 1, number 3, and number 5. Ling Xiao did not immediately help the others. Instead, he stood there and watched coldly. Yu Qin, Zilin, Xingyu, and Bai Yinzalong did not need his help at all. He had already suppressed his opponent. Victory was only a matter of time. Cold Plum and Xiao Jin had already taken care of their respective opponents. Now that it was one-on-one, they had a greater advantage. Lang Qingqing, Royalty Bideo, and Sea Lion Hero were in trouble. His body had already suffered many injuries. He was being suppressed by his opponent. As for the 4 half-step divine physique realm martial artists, they were killed because of the ghost fish. Now, the disadvantage was very obvious. I didn't expect that Guiyu would die in such a manner. He's really unlucky. Ling Xiao smiled and shook his head without the slightest bit of sympathy. Ghost fish wanted to kill him back then, but in the end he used a magic treasure to escape. This time, there was no way for him to escape. Ling Xiao looked at the spirit stones placed there. Although there was an array formation protecting them, it was still not enough. Although there was a protective array around them, it was not a problem for him. He stepped forward and put the 10,000 top-grade spirit stones into his Dongsheng Emperor ring. Ling Xiao, you bastard! Seeing that Ling Xiao had taken all the spirit stones away, Royalty Bideo flew into a rage. However, he was distracted for a moment, and his throat was pierced by his opponent's sword. Although this was not enough to kill Royalty Bideo, but it caused him to be seriously injured. It was impossible for him to recover in a short time. Thank me. If we weren't teammates now, I wouldn't have saved you. Ling Xiao jumped in front of Royalty Bideo and blocked the fatal blow for him. Royalty Bideo's opponent was number 14. He was considered the weakest among the 15. Moreover, he was injured in the battle with Royalty Bideo and had consumed a lot of energy. Ling Xiao only used his true body to kill his opponent in one move. 4. Previously, they had agreed that whoever killed the most undead spirit guards would get more spirit stones. At this moment, another person let out a scream. The twin brothers were killed. Zhou Guang was so scared that he turned around and fled. For people couldn't kill one opponent, then it was impossible for him to do it alone. Unfortunately, the undead guard didn't give him the chance at all. Ling Xiao wanted to save him, but it was too late. Zhou Guang was directly cut in half by the sickle. Ling Xiao jumped over and killed the undead guard from behind. 5. Ling Xiao, help me. The Sea Lion Hero suddenly shouted. Compared to spirit stones, he wanted his life more. Although he had already seriously injured his opponent at this time, his injuries were even worse. If this continued, he would definitely die. He could only ask for help. Void Shattering Finger. Transcend the void. Ling Xiao used the first level of Void Shattering Finger and directly stabbed Sea Lion Hero's opponent. 6. At this moment, Cold Plum and Little Gold had also finished their battle. Both of them were second-level divine body, realm powerhouses, after all. As long as one of them was killed, it would be easy. So far, the Battle Alliance's team had already killed 10 undead guards. If the 10,000 spirit stones were divided into 3 portions, they would get 2 portions. Miss Qingqing, do you need help? Ling Xiao asked with a smile. At this moment, Lang Qingqing was also in trouble. She originally wanted to wait for Shen Yu to save her, but now it seemed that she couldn't wait any longer. Stop talking nonsense, hurry up and help. Lang Qingqing was also very helpless. She had already tried her best, but the opponent was too strong. There was nothing she could do. Okay. Ling Xiao hurriedly rushed over. The East Victory Sky, sword in his hand, burst out a terrifying light. Only a little bit left. This was also a sword light that directly killed Lang Qingqing's already seriously injured opponent. Then, with a perfect arc, it also killed Zilin's opponent. 8. This was Ling Xiao's personal result. Bastard, what are you doing? Zilin said angrily. Sorry, my hand accidentally slipped. Ling Xiao smiled. At this moment, Yu Chen, Xing Yu, and Bai Yinzilong all killed their opponents one after another. The battle had ended. It could be said that it was a Pyrrhic victory. The half-step divine, physique, realm martial artists were all dead. Wang Quanbadeo and Hai Shixiang were seriously injured. Lang Qingqing was also seriously injured. Ling Xiao, you bastard, you didn't save them. You're stealing my kill. Zi Lin roared angrily. If you dare to talk nonsense again, I'll kill you. Ling Xiao looked at Zi Lin coldly. I didn't save them. If I didn't save them, Wang Quanbadeo, Hai Shixiang, and Lang Qingqing would all die. Those people are too weak. I couldn't save them in time. You dare to slander me? Boss, don't talk nonsense with that kid. He's not capable, yet he's still shouting. Xiao Jin said disdainfully. Ling Xiao sneered and began to distribute the spirit stones. Our Battle Alliance team has already killed 13 Commander Kisses. I'll take 9,000 spirit stones. As for the remaining 1,000, Yu Qin and Sheng Yu will take 500 each. Any questions? Ling Xiao asked. No problem. Although the 2 of them were somewhat helpless, they could only accept it. This was already much better than what they had imagined. I'll give you 1,000 silver. Cold Plum and Xiao Jin. You 2 will take 2,000 each. Ling Xiao was never stingy with his brothers. Chapter 46:13. Ling Xiao still had 4,000 top-grade spirit stones, even after distributing them to his brothers. This was already the most he had. Boss, I don't want it. Me too. Cold Plum and Xiao Jin shook their heads. Seeing that Ling Xiao still wanted to say something, Xiao Jin said, Boss, if you think highly of me, just accept it. I already took your Phoenix, Martial Soul, and Death Wither. It's not right to ask for more spirit stones. That's right, Master. I also got the Eternal Fruit and Ancient War Tree. Cold Plum said. Fine, I'll keep it for now. Ling Xiao wasn't a bashful person, so he had 8,000 top-grade spirit stones. You guys are making me embarrassed. Yin Long smiled bitterly and said, How can I take 1,000? How about this? I'll only take 500. I'll return the remaining 500 to you. Ling Xiao smiled and said, You don't have to do this. I just want to let some people see that those who are with me, Ling Xiao, will never suffer. All right, then I'll accept your offer. Yin Long really thought highly of Ling Xiao now. This method of winning people over is amazing. Even he was touched. Perhaps he couldn't repay this favor here. However, when he returned to Golden City, he had to do something for Ling Xiao no matter what. Are we still going forward? After distributing the spirit stones, Ling Xiao looked at Shen Yu and asked. Of course, Shen Yu said. Anyway, all the trash are dead, and the rest are divine physique realm martial artists. They won't drag us down. All right, then let's rest for a while. When the 3 of them recover, we'll continue. Ling Xiao didn't care. Although Lang Qingqing, Hai Shixiang, and Wang Quanbadeo's injuries were very serious, they had brought excellent recovery medicine with them. In just half an hour or so, he had almost fully recovered. Let's go. Seeing that it was about time, Sheng Yu asked everyone to continue. Although Ling Xiao got the most top-grade spirit stones this time, Sheng Yu and Yu Qin also got 500. It was a great harvest. They looked forward to the road ahead even more. There were 3 exits to the hall. Everyone chose the middle path. Are you sure you didn't see anything? Ling Xiao suddenly asked. Stop trying to be mysterious. How many times has it been? Wang Quan domineering snapped. He didn't even get a single top-grade spirit stone. He was in a bad mood. However, it never occurred to him that his life was saved by Ling Xiao. If not for Ling Xiao, he would have died long ago. To think that he was still acting tough here. Ling Xiao looked at the others. They didn't seem to care, so he couldn't be bothered to say anything. He only reminded Cold Plum, Little Gold, and the Silver Dragon to be careful. They were definitely being targeted by something. However, he wasn't afraid. After the battle with the undead guards, his cultivation C energy had increased to 60%. His strength was twice as strong, or rather, he hoped to meet a powerful expert. The road was very straight with almost no bends. The road to the Yellow Springs seemed to have been cut off ahead. A tall tower appeared. This tower wasn't the skeleton tower that Ling Xiao saw before. Instead, it was a gray tower. The material used should be ordinary bricks and stones. Ghost King Tower. What is a Ghost King? Undead King, guards, and now a Ghost King. It's really complicated. Who cares what it is? Let's go in and see. Wang Quan domineering hoped that he could gain something. He didn't get anything before, but in this Ghost King Tower he might get something good. Is there anyone who doesn't want to go in? Sheng Yu asked. Everyone didn't say a word. Okay, then let's go in together. No one objected. A group of 10 people pushed open the door of the Ghost King Tower. They walked inside. At that moment, a gloomy and terrifying aura suddenly surged out from inside. That feeling was very uncomfortable. Everyone shuddered, although there was some fear in their hearts. How could this fear stop their courage? Of course, there was also greed. When they thought that there might be many treasures inside, they couldn't help but be very excited. Boom! As soon as the 10 people entered, the door slammed shut. Everyone was taken aback by this. However, nothing happened. Everyone searched from the first floor up. They didn't find anything in the first 17 floors, which made them feel a little dispirited. However, they had to continue. It would be a pity if they gave up here. Thus, everyone stepped into the 18th floor. The 18th floor was also gloomy. It was even more terrifying than the first 17 floors combined. That cold aura made everyone tremble. At the same time, 2 figures appeared outside the Ghost King Tower. If Ling Xiao saw them, he would be very surprised, because these people were none other than Wang Quan Domineering and Pterosaur. The 2 people who were killed by Ling Xiao appeared at the same time. However, there was no light in their eyes. It was as if they were dead. These 2 figures rushed into the Ghost King Tower. Be careful. On the 18th floor, Sheng Yu reminded. This place was too strange. Even if it was for treasures, they couldn't let their guard down. Look, what's that? Suddenly, someone exclaimed. Everyone looked in the direction of his finger. There was a high platform in front of them. On the high platform, there were 5 treasures. All of them were emperor weapons. Although they couldn't see how many dragon patterns there were definitely emperor weapons. A treasured sword, a long saber, a pair of shoes, a soft armor, a purple gold alms bowl. The others only saw these 5 items. However, Ling Xiao noticed that beside these 5 treasures, there was an item that was almost covered by dust. He couldn't see if it was a book or a scroll. However, Ling Xiao could feel that this item wasn't simple. The moment they saw the treasures, everyone's expression became unfriendly. Perhaps their teamwork had come to an end. There were only 5 treasures, but there were 10 people. How were they going to split them? Moreover, even if they could split them equally, some people wouldn't be willing. Idiots, you didn't even see what level the Emperor weapons were, and you're already prepared to kill each other? Do you think it's worth it for 1 or 2 Emperor weapons without dragon patterns? Of course. I don't mind if you insist on fighting among yourselves. After all, our side is much stronger than yours. Ling Xiao reminded. That's right. What he said is very reasonable. Holy Rain nodded. If it was really an Emperor weapon without dragon patterns, or an Emperor weapon with 1 dragon pattern, it wasn't worth it to kill each other for that. But who will be sent to determine the level of the items? No matter who goes, I believe everyone won't be at ease. Wang Quan said domineeringly, especially not the Battle Alliance's team. You guys are the strongest. If you want to monopolize it, we can't do anything. Idiot. While speaking, Ling Xiao suddenly rushed out. He said that he didn't know the level of those items, but that was a complete lie. Actually, with the strength of his Tai Chi eye, he had already seen that the 4 Emperor weapons were Emperor weapons with 4 dragon patterns, although they were weaker than 9 dragon patterns. However, Emperor weapons with 9 dragon patterns were already the strongest in the 4 regions and 9 worlds. Emperor weapons with 4 dragon patterns weren't weak at all. His words were just to stall for time so that the other person wouldn't act recklessly. Chapter 46:14. What the hell is that? Ling Xiao scooped up the 5 items and put them into the Dongsheng Emperor ring. Originally, he wanted to face the other people's attacks. However, he suddenly heard a woman's sobbing coming from the 18th floor. The other people also heard it. They all looked in the direction of the sobbing sound. It was a woman with very long hair. Her face couldn't be seen, and her hair almost reached the ground. She was wearing white clothes and was floating toward them. She was crying as she rushed over. Whoosh! Suddenly, the female ghost's hair turned into 10 poisonous snakes and attacked the 10 people at the same time. Her speed was terrifying. She was even more terrifying than a first-level divine physique echelon martial artist. Be careful. Ling Xiao mainly reminded his own people. As for the others, he didn't care about their lives. This group that wasn't very stable in the first place should be disbanded at this point. Ah! A mournful scream was heard. A strand of snake-shaped hair pierced into Sea Lion Hero's arm. Sea Lion Hero thought that he would be fine. However, who would have thought that his right arm would wither and deform in an instant? All his blood essence was sucked dry. The hair spread from his arm and headed toward his heart and head. Ching-ching, let's go. Holy Rain's shield shone with white light and blocked the attack of the snake-like hair for him. He even blocked the attack for Lang Ching-ching. At the same time, he pulled Lang Ching-ching and continued forward. Obviously, Holy Rain realized that if he continued to follow Ling Xiao, he wouldn't be able to get anything. He might as well take the risk himself. Tyrannical, let's go too. Yu Qin was also dissatisfied. Together with Wang Quan and Tyrannical, they swept away their long black hair and turned to leave. Seeing that the situation wasn't good, Zilin didn't want to stay. Ling Xiao had always wanted to kill him. If he continued to stay here, only death would await him. He might as well go out and try his luck. The female ghost didn't chase after those who ran away. Instead, she stared at Ling Xiao and the others. You're courting death. Little Gold released the 9 underworlds' yellow spring golden light. The female ghost crashed into the golden light and let out a shrill scream. A moment later, she was completely melted. Although the golden light of the 9 underworld's yellow springs was extremely cold, it could melt everything in the world. This was Xiao Jin's trump card. He usually didn't use it. This time, he had only used it out of desperation. Its power was truly terrifying. Ling Xiao kept all 4 monarch armaments for now. This monarch weapon had a thick dead spirit chi, which needed to be neutralized first. As for who it would be given to in the end, that would have to be decided later. However, Ling Xiao was most interested in the fifth item, a picture scroll. Just as he was about to study it, someone suddenly screamed and ran in. "Oh my, isn't this Zilin? Why are you back?" Ling Xiao said with a smile when he saw Zilin. "Ghost! Ghost!" Zilin couldn't even speak properly. Ling Xiao did not mock Zilin. Zilin was a first-level divine physique echelon expert. Moreover, he was a top-notch existence within the divine physique echelon. Something that could make him so fearful was definitely not simple. The next moment, he saw two figures rushing in from outside the door. Both of them were dressed in white. Their skin seemed to have lost all color, and there were many traces of stitching on their bodies. However, there was no way Ling Xiao would ever forget their faces. They were Wang Quan under the heavens and Pterosaur, whom he had killed earlier. What the hell? Ling Xiao sucked in a cold breath. This was the first time he had encountered such a thing. Now he felt more and more that the corpse Ghost King was very likely the previous Golden Emperor. The souls in Wang Quan under the heavens and Pterosaur's bodies were complete. However, they did not belong to them. Only their bodies belonged to them. Their souls seemed to be stronger. Their bodies had also undergone some special treatment, which made them much stronger than before. The two of them used to be first-level divine physique echelon experts, but their auras now felt like they had reached second-level divine physique echelon. What the hell is this place for? Why can a person's body merge with another person's soul? The white silver dragon felt his entire body trembling. Ling Xiao had never seen such a strange thing. He had never seen such a strange thing either. This was simply too strange. Pterosaur, I don't know why, but I seem to hate those people over there. Wang Quan under the heavens spoke. Me too. There doesn't seem to be any reason. Perhaps it's the hatred brought by this body. Pterosaur said faintly. Their voices were cold and indifferent, as if ghosts were talking. Pterosaur, do you still recognize me? I'm Zilin. Zilin hurriedly said when he saw that Pterosaur could still speak. Zilin, I think I do, but I don't think I do. Forget it. Anyway, Master said to kill all living things that enter this place. Pterosaur thought for a while and said. Zilin's expression changed drastically. Originally, he was a very confident person. However, the series of blows had caused him to completely lose his confidence and become like a bird that was startled by the twang of a bow. He had completely lost his courage. Unlike him, Ling Xiao and the others were already prepared. This battle was obviously unavoidable. Although they did not know how these two monsters were formed, it was most likely the doing of the dead Spirit Emperor. Damn it, turning people into monsters directly. This dead Spirit Emperor really knows how to play. Kill! Suddenly, Pterosaur and Wang Quan under the heavens attacked. One pounced on Zilin, while the other pounced on the white silver dragon. Perhaps it was because they were the closest to each other, or perhaps it was because they were the weakest, or perhaps it was just a random choice. No matter what, their attack had begun. Boom! Boom! The white silver dragon and Zilin were sent flying at the first contact. Help! Ling Xiao said, of course, to help the white silver dragon. As for Zilin's life or death, it had nothing to do with him. Golden Prince, save me. I'm willing to sign a blood contract with you. Zilin roared. Boss, that guy's family is very strong. If he becomes my blood slave, it will be very useful for controlling the savage beast region. Cold Plum went to help the white silver dragon. Little Gold looked at Ling Xiao and said, Boom! At this moment, Cold Plum and Pterosaur collided. The two of them actually took half a step back. They were evenly matched. So strong! Ling Xiao knew how strong Cold Plum was. After obtaining the ancient war Tree Martial Soul, Cold Plum was considered one of the top existences in the second level of the divine physique echelon. She was actually evenly matched with that guy. He really didn't know how such a monster was created. Let's sign the blood contract now. Ling Xiao sneered. He didn't mind having another follower, because according to Little Gold, once the blood contract was signed, it could never be betrayed. Even if the master died, the blood slave would only die with him. Under normal circumstances, the blood contract couldn't be betrayed. Therefore, this blood contract could only be signed with the consent of both parties. It couldn't be forced. Now that Zi Lin agreed, the blood contract was naturally established. Ling Xiao saw a strange incantation on both of their bodies. It flickered and disappeared. Although Zi Lin was unwilling, he could only accept his fate now. Chapter 46:15. Go and save him. Ling Xiao looked at Zi Lin, who was already beaten black and blue, and said to Xiao Jin. Xiao Jin broke through the air. Terrifying flames enveloped his entire body. He fought with Wang Quan under the heavens. Wang Quan under the heavens did not have a weapon in his hand, but that hand felt even more terrifying than the 3-dragon patterns emperor weapon. The two fought crazily on the 18th floor. In the blink of an eye, they had already fought for dozens of rounds, but there was still no winner. Void-shattering finger, transcend the void. Ling Xiao saw the opportunity and pointed out. It directly pierced through Wang Quan under the heaven's head. Ordinary undead creatures would definitely die if their heads were shot through. But Wang Quan under the heavens was only stunned for a moment and did not have any reaction. He must have a weakness. Ling Xiao opened his Tai Chi eye and began to search for weaknesses. At this time, the Silver Dragon and Cold Plum had joined forces to suppress the pterosaur. Half of the pterosaur's body was destroyed, but the pterosaur did not even let out a scream. Undead essence. The undead essence in their bodies is where their souls are located. Ling Xiao said loudly. At this moment, Wang Quan under the heavens actually abandoned his opponent and turned to escape. This fellow had actually sensed the danger and slipped away. Unfortunately, the pterosaur was one step behind him. Xiao Jin blocked the door and burned it to ashes. He did not believe that the corpse could be resurrected when it had been turned to ashes. This undead essence is so big and heavy. Ling Xiao held the undead essence in his hand and felt that it was not a cold energy, but holy energy. This thing might be able to help me refine the White Lotus Divine Supreme. Thinking of this, Ling Xiao sat cross-legged and began to try. Anyway, with Xiao Jin and Cold Plum around, no one could disturb him. It really works. After a while, a man in white appeared beside Ling Xiao. He looked pure and holy. His appearance was exactly the same as Ling Xiao, but he had a holy aura. He sat cross-legged on the White Lotus, holy and domineering. Ha ha ha, it's a success. Ling Xiao laughed excitedly. Out of the 3 venerables, 2 had already been formed. There was only one venerable emperor left. The venerable sovereign was the way of the emperor. It was also very suitable for Ling Xiao. When Zi Lin saw Hierarch White Lotus, he was dumbfounded. He had already met Black Lotus Demon Venerable. This was the first time Venerable White Lotus had seen such a thing. Just what kind of cultivation technique is this fellow cultivating? He can actually condense such a terrifying avatar. Avatars were not clones. It was equivalent to Ling Xiao having another body. The difference between the avatar and the main body was that due to the limits of the cultivation technique, the avatar would reach a certain limit and be unable to advance any further. However, the potential of the original body was limitless. Ling Xiao didn't know what level of cultivation method the Lotus Sutra was, mainly because his cultivation was too low, so he couldn't sense it. Boss, congratulations. Xiao Jin laughed excitedly. Nothing. Ling Xiao smiled and handed the heaven-victorious sword to Supremacy White Lotus. These 2 swords were more suitable for divine Venerable White Lotus and demon Venerable Black Lotus. What he needed now was an emperor's sword, because he wanted to cultivate the Golden Lotus Scroll. It just so happened that he had such a sword. It was the Emperor's weapon with 4 dragon patterns that he had just obtained. The Ghost King's sword. The Ghost King's sword might not be as sharp as the Heaven Victorious sword and Demon Victorious sword. However, it contained the Emperor's ghost chi. It was more suitable for the current Ling Xiao. Most importantly, it came with its own ultimate skill. This ultimate skill didn't need to be cultivated. Its power was enough to pose a great threat to 3rd-level divine physique echelon martial artists. Moreover, it had nothing to do with the user's strength. It could be said that it was more terrifying than the 12 divine beast technique and more powerful than the void-shattering finger. Let's go. Let's continue forward. I have a feeling that something interesting will happen ahead. Ling Xiao stood up after condensing Hierarch White Lotus. His cultivation sea's energy had increased by 20% and was now at 80%. His aura became stronger again. Ling Xiao glanced at Zi Lin and realized that Zi Lin's arrogance had been completely erased. Becoming a blood slave might be worse than death. However, some people were willing to do anything in order to survive. After leaving the Ghost King Tower, the 5 of them started to track Wang under the heavens. However, after chasing for half a day, there was no trace of him. They had no choice but to give up. Most importantly, this place was filled with death aura. It was too difficult to capture Wang under the heavens aura. Forget it. Let's continue forward. Although Ling Xiao had collected 10 necromancy essences, he didn't use them immediately, because he wasn't sure what would happen after using the necromancy essences. Once he was separated from his teammates, there would be more trouble. They walked for another hour or so. One of the necromancy kings, the Ghost King, appeared in front of them. The Ghost King glanced at Ling Xiao and sighed. You have collected all the necromancy essences, but you didn't choose to leave. Seems like you plan to enter the Great Emperor Palace? That's right. Ling Xiao nodded. He could feel kindness and struggle from the Ghost King. The Ghost King might be different from Wang under the heavens. This body wasn't his, but the soul was. Therefore, he would remember more things. I have to remind you that once you enter the Great Emperor Palace, even I can't help you. You're on your own. The Ghost King said again. I know. Ling Xiao nodded. Since he had come so far, it was impossible for him to give up. No matter how dangerous the future was, he was going to fight. What's more, he had 2 avatars, the Divine Lord and the Demon Lord. He even obtained a special divine ability. It was fusion. This fusion could fuse the strength of the Divine Lord, the Demon Lord, and the original body into one. The effective time was half an hour, and the cooldown time was 12 hours. Although it was only half an hour, Ling Xiao would obtain extremely terrifying combat power in this half an hour. Therefore, he was going to fight. Well, since you have decided, face it bravely. By the way, let me remind you that you are definitely not the only one going to the Great Emperor Palace. The Ghost King said again, What will happen to the people outside? Ling Xiao frowned and asked, If you can't collect 100 necromancy essences, you will die. The dead Spirit Emperor only gave you 24 hours, and 20 hours have passed. In 4 hours, the undead army in the City of No Return will all move out. At that time, there will be no more living people in the City of No Return. Either leave or enter the Great Emperor Palace. The Ghost King sighed. When he said this, he obviously couldn't bear it. That's really cruel. Ling Xiao gritted his teeth. Is the strong playing with people's lives? Let's see what this Death Spirit Emperor is made of. Although many warriors who entered the world of souls had nothing to do with him, but they were all martial artists. Ling Xiao was a person with great ambitions. He wanted to unify the mystic world and rebuild the sacred dynasty of the human race. Since this was the case, he would never allow such an evil creature to harm the lives of his own kind. Now he couldn't care less, but he at least had to remember the appearance of the dead Spirit Emperor. There would be a day when he would kill this evil thing. Chapter 46:16 He lifted his foot and walked towards the great Emperor Palace. Behind him was a carnival of undead spirits. More and more undead creatures appeared in the city of no return. Soon, this place would become a purgatory. If they couldn't leave or enter the great Emperor Palace, they would be dead for sure. The undead army, led by the undead spirit kings, was ready to set off. Their lethality was much more terrifying than the undead creatures. Many cultivators had already discovered this horrifying situation. They were desperately looking for an exit, but it was to no avail. In front of them, the gate of the great Emperor Palace had already opened. Ling Xiao walked while listening to the screams of the people. He didn't feel good in his heart. His face became incomparably gloomy. If he didn't come here, he would have died like these people. If he didn't have a divine tool like the Dongxing Emperor Ring, his friends would also have died like this, and he couldn't do anything about it. This made him hate the mastermind even more. Perhaps to the undead spirit emperor, this was just a boring game. But to them, this was a gamble with their lives. The great Emperor Palace was the tall tower with piles of skeletons that Ling Xiao saw before. As he walked closer, he could see it more clearly. Each and every one of those skeletons was completely intact, although they didn't have any expression. Their bones revealed endless resentment and unwillingness. How many people did the undead spirit emperor kill? Ling Xiao felt a chill in his heart. This was a real lunatic who treated human lives like grass. A lunatic who treated people like ants. He could imagine how these people struggled to survive when they were alive. They were no different from those who were being slaughtered now. Stepping into the gate, it was a bright and beautiful palace. The style here was completely different from the outside. It was very luxurious and comfortable. Ling Xiao noticed that there were a few corpses. They were actually cultivators from the underworld demon domain. Ling Xiao couldn't help but be surprised. Didn't the people from the underworld demon domain have a plan? Did the plan fail? Among the corpses, there was a familiar 100 bugs. You guys really came. Suddenly, a voice sounded. Ling Xiao looked at the other side. It was Lang Qingqing and Sheng Yu who were standing there quietly. On the other side were Yu Chen and Wang Quanbadeo. These fellows were quite lucky to have made it here alive. Brother Ling. Another figure walked out from the darkness. It was Mo Jiao. Another person followed behind him. It was Tiger Soul. You're here too? Ling Xiao asked. Of course, what's the point of going out? Since the great Emperor Palace invited us, there must be something good. We can't miss it. The demonic flood dragon smiled. Humph. Tiger Soul snorted coldly and did not attack. Although this damned place was magnificent, it gave people a huge pressure. He didn't want to fight here. Moreover, Ling Xiao had 5 people on his side. He couldn't afford to offend them. Zilin, I didn't expect that a dignified martial practitioner of the Flood Dragon Clan from the Wild Beast region would side with that brat. Yu Chen sneered. Hee hee, let's talk about it after we get out of here alive. Is there any point in arguing? Ling Xiao said with a smile. This Death Spirit Great Emperor is a guy who likes to play pranks. Who knows, he might ask us to kill each other later. At that time, do you think you'll be a match for the 5 of us? These words made Yu Chen's face turn ugly. It wasn't impossible, but very likely. He started to regret coming here. Seeing that this guy didn't say anything, Ling Xiao asked the few people beside him to sit down and rest. After them, many more people came in one after another. When the total number of people reached 108, the door slammed shut. Most of these faces were unfamiliar to him. There were even some elders who had been in the death spirit world for a long time. Perhaps they were here to enter the great Emperor Palace. Among them, a few were quite strong. Moreover, some of them were obviously hostile towards Ling Xiao. They were from the Deep Sea Dragon region, Thunder Astral region, Raging Flame Astral region, and Tempest Astral region. Ling Xiao furrowed his brows. These fellows probably knew that he had killed someone. He believed that it was most likely the Death Spirit, Great Emperor, who told him. The Death Spirit, Great Emperor, obviously wanted to watch a show. The more lively, the better. "You're Ling Xiao." The one who spoke was the only martial artist from the underworld demon region. "Yes, so what?" Ling Xiao looked at the other party and didn't show any signs of weakness. "My name is Blood Demon. Remember it. I'll be the one who kills you." Blood Demon sneered and returned to the crowd. Ling Xiao knew that this guy wanted to make him afraid. He wanted to make him restless in the upcoming events. However, would Ling Xiao be afraid? He only smiled contemptuously. Then he went to think about his own matters. Yu Xin's aura was getting thicker and thicker. He was sure that he was in the Great Emperor Palace. However, he didn't know the exact location. Whoosh! Suddenly, a gust of wind blew. In the magnificent hall, there were two unfamiliar figures. They were wearing black and white clothes. They were wearing strange masks. They attracted everyone's attention. Everyone stopped talking and looked at the two masked men quietly. Their hearts were beating faster. The Death Spirit, Great Emperor, isn't coming out? Ling Xiao was a little disappointed. These two people were obviously not the Death Spirit, Great Emperor, because their strength was about the same as the Death Spirit King. Perhaps they were slightly stronger. They had reached the third level of the divine physique realm, but that was the end. The black and white impermanence of the city of no return. Mo Jiao's voice was trembling. I've only heard of it before. I didn't expect to see it with my own eyes this time. Black and white impermanence. How could the real black and white impermanence be so weak? They're just using the name of the black and white impermanence. Ling Xiao smiled in disdain. There were legends of the underworld among the people of the mystic world. Some said that it was the inside of the mystic world, a place controlled by the 10 kings of hell. The black and white impermanents were the peerless powerhouses. If the 10 kings of hell were similar to the 7 sovereigns, then the black and white impermanents were at least the subordinates of the 7 sovereigns. It was impossible for them to be so weak. Therefore, this was naturally fake. After the black and white impermanents appeared, the remaining 11 Death Spirit Kings all returned to their positions and stood beside them. The atmosphere suddenly became oppressive. Everyone was extremely nervous. First of all, welcome everyone who has bravely stepped into the Great Emperor Palace. You will feel honored for your choice. We are the black and white impermanents, the personal guards of the Death Spirit, Great Emperor. The black impermanence was the first to speak. His voice was cold and eerie, as if there was a terrifying feeling that could hook one's soul. It made people feel very uncomfortable listening to it. Almost everyone was listening quietly. Only Ling Xiao opened his mouth and asked, "Where's the Death Spirit, Great Emperor? Why didn't he appear?" "Because you don't deserve to see the Death Spirit, Great Emperor." The white impermanence's voice was even sharper, like a woman's voice, making people feel very ear-piercing and uncomfortable. Chapter 46:17. Haha, is that so? Ling Xiao smiled and did not say anything else. Clearly, the Death Spirit Emperor looked down on them. This meant that his strength was even more terrifying. The reason why Ling Xiao had said those words was to test this. Now he had to reevaluate the strength of the Death Spirit Emperor. He was definitely much stronger than black and white impermanence. There are no more questions, right? White impermanence asked coldly. No one said anything else. Thus, black impermanence continued. Since there are no more questions, we will continue to convey the Emperor's decree. I invited all of you here because the Great Emperor has prepared 108 treasures for all of you. Among them, 107 are Emperor armaments with 9 dragon patterns. You should understand the meaning of this, right? Hearing Black Impermanence's words, many people's breathing became rapid. Emperor armaments with 9 dragon patterns were the top Emperor armaments in the 4 regions and 9 worlds. If they obtained it, everyone knew what it meant. They worked so hard to come here and experience so many dangers. Wasn't it all for this? Looking at everyone's excited appearance, Black Impermanence revealed a mocking smile. Then he continued, "If you obtain an Emperor armament with 9 dragon patterns, we will also give you a matching Saint-class cultivation technique." Whoosh! A Emperor armament with 9 dragon patterns was already attractive enough. Coupled with a Saint-class cultivation technique, this was simply crazy. Everyone's eyes were filled with greed. Including Ling Xiao, it was impossible for him to be an exception. However, what he noticed was that there were 107 items. "What's the grade of the other item?" Ling Xiao asked. White Impermanence looked at Ling Xiao and smiled with satisfaction. This little brother asked a good question. Although Emperor armament with 9 dragon patterns is already very powerful and can immediately make you experts, this is the best item. However, this was the best item. It was even more outstanding than the 9 dragon inscriptions Emperor weapon. If you obtain it, you can even have the terrifying strength to rule the 4 regions and 9 worlds. How about it? Are you tempted? If it was said that before, people were only greedy, then this time it was crazy. What could be used to rule the 4 regions and 9 realms? Even if the Black and White Impermanents were exaggerating, that item would definitely be more attractive than a 9 dragon inscriptions Emperor weapon and a Saint-level cultivation technique. It sounded like the Death Spirit Emperor didn't care about the emperors of the 4 regions and 9 worlds at all. That made sense. Back then, he had turned 13 rulers into his slaves and became the 13 Death Spirit Kings. He indeed had the strength to do so. Ling Xiao's breathing also became tense. This fellow was actually a terrifying existence that surpassed the sovereigns of the 4 domains and 9 realms. As expected of the natives of the Eternal Desert, they were truly terrifying. Compared to Lotus Flower, who was stronger. Even if it was at the same level as the Lotus Flower, the items given out would probably be extremely precious. Ling Xiao had already experienced the Lotus Sutra. Just by condensing the Black Lotus Demon Venerable and the White Lotus Venerable God, Ling Xiao already possessed the ability to surpass a 3rd-level divine physique echelon expert. Wouldn't he be even stronger if he condensed the Sovereign Golden Lotus? Interesting. Ling Xiao looked at the Black and White deities and continued to listen to them. A treasure of this level definitely wouldn't be easily obtained by them, especially this Death Spirit Emperor. He was a ruthless character who liked to scheme behind people's backs, who knew what methods he would use to deal with them. Just as these 108 people were being lectured by the Black and White deities, the outside of the world of dead souls was also shaken. This was because a martial artist had collected the essence of dead souls and left, telling the Patriarch Society about the opening of the City of No Return. Naturally, there were spies from the Beast Deities Alliance in the Patriarch Society. Hence, the Beast Deities Alliance also knew about this. The entire chaotic desert was boiling. The City of No Return, this legendary city, had opened. This caused countless martial artists to scramble to enter. Unfortunately, only martial artists below the divine physique echelon could enter, in order to obtain more benefits. The Patriarch Society and the Beast Deities Alliance both sent a large number of shattered core realm martial artists in. They planned to conquer the City of No Return. Of course, Ling Xiao and the others didn't know about this. At this moment, they were listening to the Black and White deities talking about the shocking 108th item. Aren't you tempted? The 4 regions and 9 worlds have been divided for too long. The Death Spirit Emperor felt bored, so he wanted to find someone who could unify the 4 regions and 9 worlds. Who could this person be? The Black and White deities smiled as he looked at the crowd. He saw the shock and greed in their eyes. He was very satisfied. However, Ling Xiao had some doubts. If the Death Spirit Emperor was really so terrifying, why didn't he unify the 4 regions and 9 worlds himself? Why did he have to choose from these people? Why did he set up a restriction to prevent divine, physique echelon martial artists from entering? Was he really that strong? Or was he just pretending to be a pig with a scallion stuck in his nose? This was worth thinking about. He wouldn't blindly worship someone, but he wouldn't blindly fear someone either. Although the Death Spirit Emperor seemed to be very powerful, he didn't see it himself. After all, he couldn't say anything. However, most people didn't think so much. They were deeply attracted by the black and white deity's words. Even if they couldn't unify the 4 regions and 9 worlds, becoming the strongest in their own forces was already attractive enough. Isn't it time to talk about the main topic? How do we get these items? Mo Jiao said coldly. Everyone knew that it wasn't easy to get these items. They didn't know what kind of suffering they had to go through. Ha 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 ha, looks like there are still smart people here. The black and white deities laughed wildly. Actually, the method is very simple. There are 107 king-level undead essences here. Emperor-level undead essences. Fight for them. Kill each other. You have 1 hour to get these items. Remember, you can get them all by yourself. There's no need to share them with others. After saying this, the white deities revealed a strange smile. This last sentence was simply a deliberate attempt to sow discord, to make everyone present kill each other. After saying that, they disappeared from where they stood. The 11 Death Spirit Kings also disappeared. Only 108 martial artists were left. As soon as the black and white deities disappeared, someone was already killed. There were actually martial artists who couldn't wait to attack. What a lunatic. Everyone stop! Ling Xiao said coldly, "Are you idiots? Is he really going to give us what he says he'll give us? You have to know that we didn't see anything." This included 107 Emperor weapons with 9 dragon patterns. We didn't see anything. Are we stupid enough to kill each other just because of a sentence from them? Why don't we join forces and kill the Death Spirit Emperor? Maybe we can get more. Ling Xiao's words were the truth. The other party was just a verbal promise. It wasn't worth killing each other for an empty promise. There are so many experts here, and almost all of them were at the first level of the divine body realm. If they joined forces, it wasn't impossible to kill the Death Spirit Emperor. End of chapter. Chapter 46:18. However, Ling Xiao still ignored the greed of human nature. Some people were tempted by his words, but it was still meaningless. Someone made a move again. Ling Xiao even suspected that the person who made a move was controlled by the Death Spirit Emperor. When one person made a move, the whole place became chaotic. The slaughter began. Ling Xiao didn't say any more nonsense, because he knew that it was meaningless to waste his breath. So he called Xiao Jin and the others to the side. The 5 of them together were extremely powerful, and no one dared to come over. So they just watched the show. "Boss, don't worry. If those people want to die, just let them die. Don't worry about them." Xiao Jin saw Ling Xiao frowning and said, "I'm not concerned about their life and death, but about us. With fewer and fewer people, the possibility of us fighting against the Death Spirit Emperor is getting lower and lower. Sai, there's no other way. We have too few people." Ling Xiao sighed. He didn't like to be played. He didn't want to participate in the Death Spirit Emperor's game at all. So he didn't compete for the 108 undead essences. He just watched quietly. He wanted to know if there was really a treasure in obtaining the undead essences. The battle only lasted for 10 minutes. The number of deaths had risen to more than 50. The number of people decreased greatly. Some people went to fight for the undead essences, but they were killed before they could even warm up. The scene was extremely chaotic. Like Ling Xiao, Yu Chen, Wang Quanbadeo, Shen Yu, and Lang Qingqing didn't make a move. And that blood demon. But their mentality was different. Ling Xiao didn't believe the words of black and white impermanence at all. And these people were just watching, because they were strong enough, and there were 2 of them. So ordinary warriors wouldn't take the initiative to provoke them. After another half an hour, there were only 20 people left. This battle was tragic enough. But until now, no one had obtained the undead essences. What a stupid battle. So many people sacrificed their lives because of empty words. Perhaps it was because of the corpses on the ground. People gradually calmed down. There were only 20 people left, but there were 108 undead essences. Even if it was divided like this, it was still a good thing. Aren't you going to continue? Ling Xiao said sarcastically, "You guys are really brave. How does it feel to kill so many of your own kind?" Speaking of which, apart from Mo Jiao and Tiger Soul, the rest of the 108 people belonged to the 4 regions and 9 realms. If they were fighting for real treasures, Ling Xiao could understand. After all, even he was unable to resist the temptation of such a treasure. But now, before they even saw the treasure, they were already slaughtered to such an extent. He couldn't understand. Stop making sarcastic remarks. Do you want to be a bystander and stay out of this? No way. Blood Devil coldly snorted and said, "Everyone listen up. Right now, the Battle Alliance's team is the strongest. If this continues, we will definitely be killed by them. Why don't we join forces and get rid of them first? Then we can settle the matter between us." His idea immediately resonated with many people, especially Xingyu and Yu Qin. They had suffered losses in this aspect before. "I'm not doing it." Lang Qingqing chose to withdraw. Ling Xiao had saved her life more than once. She wasn't that shameless. However, even if he withdrew, together with Shengyu, Yu Chen, and Wang Quanba, Blood Devil's team had become 12 people. 12 against 5. The chances of winning were still very high. "I'll join too." Tiger Soul suddenly stood up. He had wanted to kill Ling Xiao for a long time, but he didn't have the ability to do so alone. Now that there was such a team, that was just right. "Tiger Soul, think carefully. If you join us, you'll be my enemy." Mo Jiao stood on Ling Xiao's side. "Ha ha ha, so what if I'm your enemy? I've long found you an eyesore." Tiger Soul sneered. Just like that, 13 against 6. And Lang Qingqing was neutral. "Looks like I can't leave without killing some people today." Ling Xiao stood up with a sneer. Originally, he didn't want to kill too much. However, even if he wanted to avoid the battle, it was impossible. 13 against 6. How do we fight? Ling Xiao asked. "I'll deal with Yu Qin and Wang Quanba. I've long found them an eyesore." Xiao Jin said coldly. "I'll choose the 3 of them." Cold Plum chose the 3 weakest ones. After all, it was 1 against 3. She was still more cautious. Just like that, there were 2 less on this side and 5 less on the other side. The situation was 8 against 4. "I'll pick 2 too." Mo Jiao obviously didn't want to fight Tiger Soul, so he chose 2 strangers. "Leave Xingyu to me." White Silver Sun Dragon stood up. Shengyu wasn't weak, and he wasn't confident of winning. However, he couldn't back down now. There were still 5 people on the other side. The 2 stronger ones were Blood Demon and Tiger Soul. The other 3 were weaker. "Zilin, I'll leave those 3 to you. You don't have to win, right? You just have to hold them back." Ling Xiao looked at Zilin and said. Zilin frowned. "To be honest, I can handle 2, but I can't win against 3. "Then 2 it is." Ling Xiao said indifferently. The other party was also a first-level divine body realm martial artist. He didn't want to make things difficult for Zilin. Otherwise, if Zilin was killed, the situation would be even more passive. "Master, let me go. I want to deal with 1 too." Dong Huang Yu's voice suddenly sounded. "Can you do it?" Ling Xiao was a little surprised. "Don't worry, Master. I'll be fine." Dong Huang Yu smiled. "All right." Ling Xiao called Dong Huang Yu out. However, he was surprised that this little girl's strength had broken through again. 7th level Shattered Core Realm. How did you cultivate? Ling Xiao was dumbfounded. Hee hee, Master's Dong Xing Emperor ring has a lot of good stuff. I ate a little and broke through. Dong Wang Yu smiled. Cough, cough. It would be great if everyone could break through as easily as you. Ling Xiao smiled bitterly. You can use the ghost lantern, but be careful. Although Dong Wang Yu could challenge those of a higher level, she still relied on the power of her artifact. The 9 Revolution gourd was only an emperor artifact with 2 dragon patterns. It wasn't safe enough. He would be more at ease if she gave him an emperor artifact with 9 dragon patterns. In any case, the ghost lantern was basically useless in his hands, especially after he had the Black Lotus Archdevil and the White Lotus Archdevil. He didn't need it at all. After letting Dong Huang Yu deal with the opponent, Ling Xiao faced Blood Demon and Tiger Soul alone. In order to not expose his secret, he still activated his martial soul barrier and covered the 2 of them. I'll warn you one last time. If you work together to deal with the Death Spirit Emperor, we might still have a chance. Otherwise, we will all be played to death. Ling Xiao reminded. Stop talking nonsense. If you want to fight, then fight. Don't tell us that you are afraid. Blood Demon sneered. 2 idiots. Ling Xiao couldn't be bothered to talk nonsense with these 2 idiots. This time, he didn't plan to use his true body to fight. After all, that would consume too much stamina. He still needed to save his stamina to fight the Death Spirit Emperor. Chapter 46:19. Do it! Blood Demon and Tiger Soul looked at each other, then suddenly pounced toward Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao looked at them in disdain. There was a hint of disdain in his eyes. Unfortunately, the 2 of them didn't understand the meaning of his disdain. They still charged toward Ling Xiao. They were about 3 meters away. 2 figures, one black and one white, suddenly appeared beside Ling Xiao. At that moment, the 2 of them realized that something was wrong. Unfortunately, it was too late. The Demon Lord and the Ultimate God, who were at the 2nd level of the Divine Body Realm, suddenly attacked. Blood Demon and Tiger Soul were only at the 1st level of the Divine Body Realm. How could they block it? They didn't resist the sudden attack at all. Their heads had already been moved. This time, Ling Xiao didn't leave the dead Spirit Emperor a corpse for him to revive. He burned the 2 corpses with fire. I told you that it would be great to work together. Why did you have to do this? Is it worth it? Ling Xiao took the storage rings from both of them. In their storage rings, there were a total of 4 monarch weapons with 1 dragon pattern and 2 dragon patterns. They were useless for now, so Ling Xiao threw them into the Dongsheng Emperor ring. After removing the martial soul barrier, Ling Xiao looked at Dong Huang Yu. This little girl was actually able to fight a 1st-level divine body realm martial artist without using the ghost lantern. She was really strong. He was relieved. He looked at the other battles. The White Silver Dragon's battle was the most difficult. His strength was on par with Shan Yu, so it was hard to tell who would win. They had the upper hand in the other battles. Ling Xiao didn't help. Instead, he walked toward the dead spirit essence and kept it all in his Dongsheng Emperor ring. Since there was no hope of working together, he might as well keep these things. He wanted to see what the dead Spirit Emperor would do. An hour hadn't passed yet and no one appeared. Ling Xiao started to observe the situation around him. His Tai Chi eye not only had super long-range vision, but it also had the ability to see through things. This magnificent hall seemed to be an independent structure that wasn't connected to other places. There was no hope of getting out directly. Outside, the slaughter continued. However, while the human martial artists could only flee frantically, the undead spirit race was chasing after them. It was like a cat toying with a mouse. At the same time, a large number of warriors from the Beast Deities League and the Patriarch Society had already entered the world of souls. They were all heading towards the city of no return. Along the way, there were endless battles. Except for the 13 Death Spirit Kings and their guards, the rest of the Death Spirit clan could not stop the surprise attack of the human warriors. Of course, Ling Xiao didn't know about this either. Ling Xiao suddenly noticed that there was an additional figure in the hall. It was as black as ink. It was filled with murderous intent. Royalty rules the world. Ling Xiao frowned. Wang Quan the World, who had come back from the dead, actually appeared at this time. It seemed like the Death Spirit Emperor wasn't going to let him win easily. However, how could a mere kingship stop his path to victory? He looked at the other party, and the other party looked back at him. We meet again. Yes, we meet again. My body seems to hate you. You had a helper before, but you don't have one now. Royalty rules the world, sneered. You've already turned into a monster. Why are you still talking so much nonsense? Ling Xiao yawned. Royalty rules the world was only at the first level of the divine physique echelon. He could deal with him without the help of the divine venerable and the demon venerable. Therefore, he was prepared to fight with this guy to make a breakthrough in his cultivation. The divine venerable and the demon venerable could only be used as strategic weapons when there was no other way. Otherwise, his original body wouldn't be able to grow. Of course. He. What an interesting and silly child. Later, when you see your body being swallowed into my stomach, you won't think that I'm talking nonsense anymore. Royalty rules the world, sneered. Although this guy is my enemy, I've already killed him. My hatred has been resolved. Let's just let his body disappear completely. Let my hatred go with it. Playing with the dead, what a disgusting hobby. As Ling Xiao spoke, he had already transformed into the black goat necromancer beast soul. At the same time, the sky tyrant martial soul merged with his body. This way, he wouldn't easily expose the sky tyrant martial soul. He could also use close to 80% of the sky tyrant martial soul's power. Hey, is that so? You have to have the strength to do so. Royalty rules the world with a black sword in his hand. He released a crazy aura. The whole hall was shaking. Ling Xiao frowned. This guy seemed to be stronger than before. He was about to break through the second level of the divine physique echelon. Could it be because he had swallowed something? He didn't have time to think because his opponent had already charged over. Ling Xiao held the Ghost King's sword in his hand and looked at Royalty, who had just come back to life. The opponent's fighting style wasn't Royalty's, but it was stronger. It should be the soul in this body. Kill. Ling Xiao didn't back off. His cultivation was about to break through again. In addition to his strong body, there was no reason for him to back off. Even a martial artist at the first level of the divine physique echelon couldn't kill him easily. Bam! Bam, bam, bam. The two figures clashed crazily in the magnificent hall. Every time they clashed, there would be a terrifying explosion. I'll use you to test my new move. Ling Xiao took a deep breath. The Ghost King sword stabbed forward. The skill of the four-dragon pattern monarch weapon was unleashed. Ghost Aura Sword Slash. As this move was unleashed, the surrounding ghost aura actually condensed. It created a terrifying sword aura. He charged towards Wang Quan under the heavens. You actually got the Ghost King sword, but it's useless. Royalty also attacked with his sword. The sword aura was like a waterfall, and its power wasn't inferior to Ling Xiao's at all. Boom! The two sword auras exploded in the air. King of the World was sent flying. Ling Xiao didn't have it easy either. He was also sent flying. Both of them crashed into the wall. The moment they crashed into the wall, Ling Xiao had a strange feeling. The wall was actually fake. It was as if it didn't exist. It was more like a layer of barrier. Could it be that this place is actually enveloped by a formation? Ling Xiao suddenly thought that this place was very likely the same as his martial spirit barrier. No wonder he couldn't get out. Bah! As expected of the first level of the divine body realm. This strength is really strong. Ling Xiao spat out a mouthful of bloody saliva. Under the sky tyrant martial spirit state, he was obviously more seriously injured. Although the other party was also sent flying, he wasn't injured. Brat, you're still stubborn. Fine, I'll beat you until you're convinced. As the battle went on, the soul in his body was affected more and more by royalty's hatred. His attacks also became more and more vicious. He kept attacking Ling Xiao crazily. Ling Xiao didn't use the Holy Ground Phantom, nor did he use the Child God's Blood Demon Array. At this moment, he was constantly clashing head-on with royalty. It was for the awakening of his potential. If he didn't risk his life, how could his strength break through? What exactly is your body made of? The continuous attacks made royalty begin to doubt his life. Mobile version update website. Chapter 46:20. King's World confirmed that his attacks had hit Ling Xiao at least 10 times. Moreover, every single attack was a fatal one. But Ling Xiao was only slightly injured. What the hell is this? I don't believe it. Is your body stronger than mine? King's World couldn't understand. His body was created by the Death Spirit Emperor. It was only equivalent to an Emperor weapon with 3 dragon patterns. How could the other party be stronger than him? Kill! An even more terrifying attack came. Void Shattering Finger. Shatter the void. Ling Xiao suddenly counterattacked. The void suddenly compressed and deformed. Unfortunately, only half of King's World's body was destroyed. King's World didn't have a lower body, but he was still alive. What a freak! Despair, you lowly ant. You can't kill me. King's World was actually shocked. Although his body wasn't important, his undead essence was extremely important. Once his undead essence was destroyed, his soul would also be finished. Still pretending in front of me. Ling Xiao looked at King's World in disdain. The reason why he counterattacked just now, it was because his strength had finally broken through in the continuous battle. From the 3rd level of the core shattering realm to the 4th level, a breakthrough in one level was a 10-fold increase in strength. His 10-fold wasn't an ordinary 10-fold increase. His 10-fold increase might be a 100-fold increase for others. After all, his foundation was too terrifying. Take Dong Wangyu, for example. Her cultivation speed was very fast, and the strength of each level was stronger than most martial artists. Therefore, she could challenge those of a higher level. The basic energy of other martial artists might be a small stream. Dong Wangyu was a big river. As for Ling Xiao, it was an ocean. This was why Ling Xiao was able to fight so many people above his level. Not only could he fight those of a higher level, but his cultivation speed was also very fast. Such a monster really didn't want others to live. You have already lost your value. Ling Xiao looked at King's World. The time to be beaten up was over. Sun God Blood Diagram. 2nd level Bloody Rat Demon. His strength increased 10-fold. Although Ling Xiao was weaker than King of the World before, he wasn't that much weaker. Now his battle prowess had increased by a whole 100 times. It had long surpassed the power of royalty. Although Wang Quan Under the Heavens was also a martial artist at the 1st level of the Divine Physique Echelon realm, he was after all the fusion of someone else's soul and body. He was unable to display his full combat strength. How could he be a match for Ling Xiao? How could this be? King of the World's body began to tremble, and he had the urge to run away. Ling Xiao looked at him contemptuously. He took out the Ghost King sword. 10 ferocious beasts appeared behind him. It continued to let out terrifying roars. These 10 giant beasts merged into the Ghost King's sword. It let out an even more terrifying roar. A terrifying beam of sword light left the sword and shot out. Like a ferocious beast, he pounced on King of the World. At that moment, the fear in King of the World's eyes disappeared and was replaced by relief. That's right, his soul had been played with by others, and he had lived a life that was neither human nor ghost. How many of them could persevere? Perhaps he wanted to die a long time ago, but he couldn't escape the control of the Death Spirit Emperor. Now, the opportunity had come. The moment the terrifying sword light hit King of the World, Ling Xiao clearly saw a figure appear from his body. It was a very gentle old man. He smiled and said, "Thank you, young man. You have freed me. You must be careful. The Death Spirit Emperor is not a good person. He is a terrifying schemer. You must not take him lightly." After saying that, his soul dissipated in the void. Ling Xiao stood there quietly and burned King of the World's corpse. For a long time he didn't speak or move. He suddenly thought of something. Could it be that those undead creatures were all a combination of flesh and soul? How many souls were imprisoned in those undead creatures? These people were tortured day and night. Just thinking about it was miserable enough. My dynasty will never allow such evil things to exist. Ling Xiao gritted his teeth and swore in his heart again. This place, sooner or later, would be the territory of his heavenly empire. If his people were tortured like this, how could he sit idly by? Perhaps it was because of this thought that he could continue to become stronger. Death Spirit Emperor, what kind of monster are you? He took a deep breath and temporarily suppressed the hatred and ambition in his heart. He was a rational person and wouldn't do anything impulsively. The Death Spirit Emperor was too powerful. He wasn't someone he could contend against right now. Even if he had the Demon Lord and the Divine Lord, it wouldn't be enough. On the other side, the battles also ended. Dong Huangyu was the first to end her battle. Zi Lin followed closely behind. Cold Plum was the third. Mo Jiao was the fourth. The fifth to end her battle was Xiao Jin. King of the World was completely killed, but Yu Chen was suddenly taken away by the black and white impermanence. Why? Ling Xiao asked coldly. This young man has the aura that the Emperor likes. The Emperor intends to write something good for him. Don't worry. You won't be short of the rewards you deserve. It's just that you are not qualified to become the Emperor's disciple. The black and white impermanence sneered and disappeared. Damn it! If he wasn't afraid of the Death Spirit Emperor, he would have killed these two. Damn it, why are you acting cool? The battle between the White Silver Dragon and Xingyu had yet to end. Are you still going to resist? Ling Xiao looked coldly at Xingyu. If you don't want to die, you better stop now. Xingyu had no choice but to withdraw from the battle. He understood that he no longer had a chance. Ling Xiao not killing him was already giving him face. Thank you for not killing me. Xingyu, will remember this favor. Xingyu had once looked down on Ling Xiao and didn't put him in his eyes. But now he felt that he could only look up to Ling Xiao. Among the geniuses of the 4 regions and 9 worlds, Ling Xiao might be the most outstanding one. No one could compare to him. Forming a good relationship with Ling Xiao might be the key for the heaven sacred ground to survive. You are very sensible. Ling Xiao smiled. He didn't say anything else. Next, it's best for us to work together. If we can get out of here alive, we'll get 107 Emperor weapons. Based on your performance, I will give you Emperor weapons and Saint-class cultivation techniques. Xingyu smiled bitterly and didn't say anything. This was the only way. Right now, Ling Xiao was definitely the backbone of these people. Thank you, Lang Qingqing said gratefully when she saw that Ling Xiao didn't kill Xingyu. No need. I just want to make our battle strength stronger. Ling Xiao shook his head. Next, he just had to wait. More than 50 minutes had passed since the 1 hour had passed. It was almost time for the battle to end. He wanted to know what would be waiting for him next. Would the Death Spirit Emperor really give him 108 treasures and let him leave? He felt that this matter wasn't so simple. At this moment, shouts could be heard from outside. It turned out that the Patriarch Society and the Beast Gods faction had charged in. Unfortunately, they were intercepted by the Death Spirit Emperor's personal guards and the 11 Death Spirit Lords. A miserable battle was inevitable. Chapter 46, 21. Now is your chance. The outside is attacking the city of no return. Why don't you guys take the opportunity to leave? Ling Xiao listened to the battle cries outside and said, if you guys lead those people outside, you won't be at a disadvantage in front of the King of Death Spirit. I'm not leaving. I want to go with boss. Xiao Jin said. Me too, Cold Plum said. Then I'm even more not leaving. I want to follow master. Dong Huang Yu smiled. The rest were hesitant. Ling Xiao understood what they meant. Some people felt that leaving now was disloyal. Some people still had their eyes on the Emperor weapon. You guys make your decision. The road ahead will be even more difficult. If you follow me, you'll have a slim chance of survival. Leaving now might be your only chance. Ling Xiao said indifferently. Senior Brother Bain, Brother Amo Jiao, you don't have to feel disloyal. I'll put it bluntly. Next, I can guarantee that I won't die, but I might not be able to protect you guys. Take care. I'll wait for you outside. You must come out alive. Mo Jiao and Ling Xiao gave each other a warm hug. They turned and walked outside. This was originally a barrier, but Ling Xiao had already broken it. After leaving the barrier, they could directly meet up with the martial artists outside. There were martial artists from the Beast Deity Union among them. I won't say anything unnecessary. This time it's all thanks to you. Otherwise, our Golden Heavens domain would have been wiped out. Bain Zilong knew that if he continued to let Ling Xiao protect him, he would be a burden to Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao released all the martial artists from the Golden Heavens domain from the Dongsheng Emperor. Everyone cupped their hands at him. They also left. See you later. Lang Qingqing looked at Ling Xiao with a complicated expression. See you later. I hope you can come out alive. I've bet everything on you. Shang Yu also bade farewell to Ling Xiao. After that, Ling Xiao released Ghost Sword, Qi Niming, Black Pearl, and Qi Yaoguang. When you return to the Heavenly Fiend Ghost Region, send my regards to Sister Jiao Jiao. Tell her that I'm well. Ling Xiao chuckled. Remember, don't get caught up in fighting after you leave. The Death Spirit Emperor isn't someone to be trifled with. The Divine Body Realm experts outside won't be able to come in. You won't be able to hold on. Understood? Nothing must happen to him. The four of them left reluctantly. Jianhu, Zilin, you two should leave as well. Little Gold said to the two from the Savage Beast region. Zilin had a blood contract with him, so he wasn't afraid of him betraying him. Jianhu was loyal to him, and he didn't want anything to happen to him. I'm not leaving. Wherever young master is, I will be there. Jianhu said, this is an order, not a discussion. Besides, with your current cultivation, how can you help me? Go out and cultivate well. We'll still need you in the future. Xiao Jin said. This kid was starting to feel like he was in a superior position. Yes. Sword Tiger finally nodded. Xiao Jin gave Sword Tiger an emperor armament with 3 dragon inscriptions on it. Death and wither was enough for him. After Jianhu and Zilin left, only Ling Xiao, Little Gold, Cold Plum, and Dong Huang Yu were left in the hall. There was still 1 minute left before the hour was up. The 3 of you stay in the Dongsheng Emperor Ring for now. I'll call for you when I need you. Ling Xiao was prepared to take the risk alone. No matter how dangerous the road ahead was, he had to give it a shot. The 3 of them entered the Dongsheng Emperor Ring. Soon, black and white impermanence appeared. I didn't expect you to be the last one to stay. The 2 of them looked surprised. Black impermanence said, unfortunately, there are too few people left. I'm afraid we won't be able to achieve the Emperor's goal. Let him try. Maybe he can. White impermanence said. Shouldn't you reward me? Ling Xiao frowned. Yes, but you have to get it yourself. Come with us. Black and white impermanence brought Ling Xiao to a cave for free. The words space-time corridor were carved on it. If you dare to go in, the Emperor weapons are inside. If you don't, then leave. Black Impermanence said jokingly. Damn, I knew it wouldn't be so easy. Ling Xiao stood in front of the space-time corridor and felt the terrifying aura inside. But at the same time, he also felt the aura of Yushin. It's actually here? Ling Xiao suddenly became excited. It seemed that he was right to stay. Thinking of this, he put on the Emperor Weapon's soft armor with 4 dragon patterns that he had obtained earlier. Then he took out the purple gold alms bowl. This could also resist powerful attacks from the outside world. Then he flew in. As soon as he entered the space-time corridor, he saw a white light. The white light enveloped Ling Xiao's entire body, and the soft armor actually made creaking sounds. It looked like it was about to break. What a terrifying white light. Even the Emperor Weapon with 4 dragon patterns can't block it. Ling Xiao was shocked. Fortunately, the purple light of the purple gold alms bowl was constantly repairing the soft armor. He estimated that it could last for a while. He had to rush over during this time, because Ling Xiao was not sure if his body could withstand the attack of the white light. Holy ground, demonic shadow! His speed suddenly increased as he madly rushed forward. Half an hour later, the soft armor was completely shattered. The purple gold alms bowl was also destroyed. The white light forcibly suppressed Ling Xiao's body. His body felt a huge pressure. Fortunately, his celestial demon black tortoise body was extremely powerful, equivalent to the Emperor Weapon with 7 dragon patterns. So it was much stronger than the soft armor. It would not be damaged for the time being. However, he could not fly in this white light for a long time. He continued to rush forward. Under the baptism and tempering of the white light, his body began to break through again. After another half an hour, Ling Xiao's body was covered in blood, and there were cracks all over his body. His body had also reached the limit and was about to break through to the next realm. Boom! The next moment, he flew out of the white light and came to a hall. The hall was extremely tall, at least 1,000 meters tall. This was the limit of what the Tai Chi eye could see. In the desolate hall, all the buildings were extremely tall. It was as if they were not built for humans. Even the tables and chairs looked as if they were built for giants. They were dozens of meters tall. Some were even hundreds of meters tall. Unfortunately, many of these things were destroyed. It was as if a fierce battle had happened here. The most obvious thing was the eerie white bones. Some of the white bones were extremely huge, while others were only the size of a normal person. With a gentle touch of the hand, the white bones were directly weathered and turned into powder. Ling Xiao was shocked, because he noticed that among these white bones, there were the waste tokens of the disciples of the 4 regions and 9 worlds. What did this mean? It meant that these people had entered this place and could no longer walk out. They would die here forever. Moreover, from the analysis of the Tai Chi eye, the martial artists of the 4 regions and 9 worlds who entered this place were all in the divine body realm. In other words, their situation was similar to Xiao, Jin, and the others. They broke through in the world of souls. They were tricked into coming here by the dead spirit emperor and then died here forever. It is indeed a conspiracy. But what does the dead spirit emperor want? Ling Xiao was very confused. Come and read M. Chapter 46:22. After Ling Xiao entered the space-time corridor. Outside the space-time corridor, it was Ling Xiao's old acquaintance who appeared. Lotus Flower. Ling Xiao would never have thought that Lotus Flower was the dead spirit emperor. To be exact, the Lotus Flower that Ling Xiao released before was Lotus Flower Demon Lord. The dead spirit emperor in the world of dead souls was Lotus Flower himself. This guy also had 4 bodies. The other 2 bodies were nowhere to be found. Now the 2 bodies had merged. Lotus Flower's strength was stronger than before. I didn't expect this kid to still be alive, and he even refined 2 Demon Lord and God Lord avatars. Lotus Flower was very shocked by Ling Xiao's survival. The reason why he didn't kill Ling Xiao was because he had his own purpose. At this moment, there were 10 people standing beside Lotus Flower. They weren't the dead spirit emperor. They were much stronger than the dead spirit emperor. They were the strongest fighting force under the dead spirit emperor, the 10 kings of hell. Emperor, can that kid really get that thing? One of them asked. Maybe, maybe not, it depends on fate. This kid can release my demon lord avatar. I'm sure he'll surprise me. Lotus Flower was still very confident in Ling Xiao. Not only did this kid release him, but he also resurrected after being killed by him. He still had to have some expectations for such a little guy. All right, the 10 of you don't have to worry about this. Get ready for the next step of the plan. This time, I've collected enough corpses. After I fully recover, I'll take down the 4 regions and 9 worlds to play with. Lotus Flower sneered. He would never forget the person who sealed him away. This grudge he must take revenge. But now wasn't the time. On the other side, Ling Xiao was still thinking about the dead spirit emperor's intention. Those who could enter the space-time corridor, other than those divine body realm geniuses. There were even some terrifying existences whose cultivation levels couldn't be determined. The huge skeleton reminded Ling Xiao of the extinct giant race. The giants were at least 7 to 8 meters tall. Furthermore, he was born with divine strength. Ever since the chaos of the ancient times, they had disappeared. He didn't even see a corpse. It was as precious as a dragon bone. He didn't expect to see it here. The most amazing thing was that the bones of these giants were not eroded by the wind. Even after countless years, it was still as hard as steel. Ling Xiao sent all the 12 skeletons he could find into the mountain river world. Someone would definitely use such a treasure. Disciple, have you noticed the strangeness of the space-time corridor? Suddenly, the Yuan Venerate's voice was heard. Well, I also noticed that the time here seems to be still. Ling Xiao said, rather than calling it static, it would be better to call it reincarnation. Moreover, it's a cycle that occurs once every 10,000 years. Yuan Venerate said. No wonder it's called the space-time corridor. Ling Xiao suddenly understood. But 10,000 years shouldn't affect us, right? No. The situation doesn't seem to be that simple. You've also noticed that not only does time reincarnate here, but it also passes very quickly. 300 years in here was only equivalent to 1 month in the outside world. Basically, a day is 10 years. The Yuan Venerate couldn't help but panic. Disciple, if you don't leave this place quickly, you might very well die of old age. A month is 300 years, and your lifespan is only 500 years. Do you understand? It's really a scary place. Doesn't that mean that if I stay here for 10 years, it'll only be a day outside? There are also benefits to this. If I stay here and cultivate all the time, won't I be heaven-defying when I leave? Ling Xiao laughed. That's impossible. Haven't you noticed that the spirit energy here is extremely thin? It's practically non-existent. The speed of cultivating here for 10 years isn't as fast as cultivating outside for a day. It's meaningless. Therefore, you'd better hurry up and find what you want and leave this damn place, the Yuan Venerate urged. Understood. Ling Xiao suddenly realized how those people had turned into skeletons. They might have only been in here for 1 or 2 years. However, they had been in here for more than 3,000 or even 6,000 years. It was no wonder that their bones had weathered away. Ling Xiao didn't dare delay and began to search for the location of the ocean's aura. It seemed to be in the depths of this magnificent hall. He began to walk forward. The deeper he went in, the stronger the cultivation of the skeletons. An emperor weapon with 9 dragon patterns. Ling Xiao suddenly stopped. After one of the skeletons turned into powder, an intact emperor weapon appeared. Black Tortoise Token. Little Gold, who was in the Dong Sheng Emperor ring, exclaimed. Black Tortoise Token? What's going on? Little Gold, do you know this person? Ling Xiao asked. Of course I know him. This black tortoise token is the personal treasure of the Divine Armor King of the Savage Beast region. The Divine Armor King was a figure from thousands of years ago and was also one of the popular candidates for the position of Beast Emperor. Later on, he failed to become the Beast Emperor and mysteriously disappeared. Who knew that it would actually be here? Little Gold explained. No wonder. Ling Xiao put away the black tortoise token and placed it in a compartment of the Dong Sheng Emperor ring. Perhaps the 108 treasures mentioned by the black and white impermanents were obtained this way. They were really good at fooling people. Ling Xiao searched for treasures along the way. He didn't even bother to look at the emperor weapons with 9 dragon patterns and directly put them into the Dongsheng Emperor ring. When the time came, he could give them to the people of the Heavenly Empire. He kept the monarch weapon with only 9 dragon patterns in one of the compartments. What 108 treasures! Ling Xiao had only walked for an hour and had already collected 200 years old emperor weapons with 9 dragon patterns. Especially from one person. He had obtained 100 of them. It could be seen that this person should have entered the space-time corridor like him. Although he had collected so many treasures, he still died of old age here in the end. Seeing him, Ling Xiao couldn't help but feel a little sad. Thinking that he might end up like this, he really sighed. Kid, don't despair. Don't forget that you have the soul of the undying divine beast. I suspect that this is very likely a hiding place set up by the undying divine beast. As long as you can obtain the relic of the undying divine beast, you can change the situation here. The lifespan you have lost can be regained. The Yuan Venerate reminded him. This sentence was like a wake-up call to Ling Xiao, who immediately regained his composure. Sometimes it was really good to have such a master by his side. Kid! Suddenly, an abrupt voice was heard. Ling Xiao was startled, because he had heard this voice a few times. He had heard it when he had entered the city of no return previously, and now he was actually hearing it again. Who is it? Ling Xiao asked cautiously. Don't be afraid. I don't have any hostility, the voice said. There are 3 paths ahead. The one on the left will lead you to where I am. Ling Xiao took a look and saw that it was indeed so. There were 3 paths in front of him, and each path led to a door. End of chapter. Chapter 46, 23. Senior, could it be that you're also trapped in this space-time corridor? Ling Xiao didn't move. Instead, he asked, because he didn't know who the other party was or what his purpose was. That's right. I stepped into this place a long time ago and ended up trapped here. I can't die or get out. It's really a kind of torture. I can feel that you have the aura of the 12 beast gods, and the Lotus Sutra, Dong Sheng Emperor Ring, Dong Sheng Heaven's Sword, and Dong Sheng Demon's Sword. The voice said again. Ling Xiao was really afraid that he would say the Sky Tyrant Martial Soul. But fortunately, even so, it was shocking enough. This old monster could basically see all the treasures on him. Senior, you're really strong. I was scared by you. How should I address you? Ling Xiao said with a smile. Anyway, the other party couldn't come out. He just had to be careful. The worst-case scenario would be the same as what happened to Emperor Lianhua. He would just be killed. Anyway, he could still be resurrected, so he wasn't worried. After hesitating for a moment, Ling Xiao walked to the passage on the left. Through a door, he saw the senior who was trapped there. This person had no physical body at all. Only bones were left, and there were many cracks on the bones. It was obvious that he didn't have long to live. You still came. I was really afraid that you wouldn't come. It would be a pity if I died like this. That person sighed. Did the Golden Emperor give you the heart of gold? Senior, you even know about the heart of gold. Ling Xiao was shocked. There's nothing strange about it. The heart of gold was originally mine. That person laughed. Could it be that you are? Ling Xiao looked at the white bones in front of him in surprise. Just guess it. There's no need to say it out loud. When I left, I gave the heart of gold to the Golden Emperor today. Now that I think about it, thousands of years have passed. Are you his disciple? The mysterious man asked. No. Ling Xiao shook his head and said, To be honest, I found this thing in the ancient tomb of the Western region. So that's how it is. Looks like that little guy doesn't need the heart of gold anymore. He has finally grown up. The mysterious person smiled and said, For you to be able to obtain this heart of gold, it's also considered fate with this old man. However, you're using it the wrong way. I haven't been able to unleash the true power of the heart of gold. Senior, can you tell me? Ling Xiao also wanted to know what other uses the heart of gold had. Other than being able to greatly stimulate his potential, what other uses did it have? The mysterious man nodded. First of all, you have to know that the heart of gold is not a real heart. It took me 10 years to refine by fusing my martial will and experience into the otherworldly gold. Although the outer world gold looked no different from gold, it was a completely different type of metal. It could fuse with a person's body. It can even fuse with the martial will and experience. So that was how it was. Ling Xiao didn't say anything. Instead, he silently noted it down. Everyone probably knew that the so-called experience was the summary of the process of cultivation. With these experiences, he would be able to avoid many detours in his cultivation. As for martial will, it was something of a higher level than experience. It was a martial artist's understanding and comprehension of the martial Tao. It was something that was even more precious than experience. The combination of the two could make a martial artist. Although the martial will was different for everyone, every Tao led to the heavenly Tao. In the end, the martial Tao would condense into the heavenly Tao. Ling Xiao could use this mysterious man's martial will to perfect his own martial will. Every time a martial artist wanted to break through to a new realm, their martial will had to be improved first. Theory was always the guide for practice. Without a breakthrough in theory, practice would always be stuck at a certain realm. For example, from the divine core realm to the divine body realm. If the martial will didn't reach the required level, it would be impossible to break through. Ling Xiao finally understood how precious the heart of gold was. Finally, I'll give you one more thing. The mysterious man smiled and said, Now that I'm giving it to you, I can die in peace. I won't have to suffer anymore. Ling Xiao's mood suddenly became agitated. He didn't know what this mysterious man was going to give him, but it definitely wouldn't be something ordinary. The mysterious man waved his hand. To be exact, it was a hand bone. A sword suddenly appeared in front of him. The moment this sword appeared in front of Ling Xiao felt that it was still above the Eastern Victory Heaven Sword and Eastern Victory Demonic Sword. The blade of the sword was wider than ordinary swords, and it looked like a two-handed sword. There was an opening in the middle of the blade, as if it was a mouth. There were also strange demonic beasts carved on the hilt. Suddenly, the entire structure gave off a ferocious feeling. But the strange thing was that there were no dragon carvings on the blade. Was it not an emperor weapon? But if it wasn't an emperor weapon, why did it feel so terrifying? He could even feel the ferocity of a primordial beast. I believe you've also noticed that this sword is very special, and it might be the only one in this world. No, at the very least, it's the most unique sword I've ever seen in this world. If it wasn't for the fact that I've become like this, I really wouldn't be willing to give it to you. After all, it's like an old friend of mine. It's been with me for far too long. The mysterious man didn't cry, but Ling Xiao seemed to be able to hear his sobbing. Could it be even more precious than the heart of gold? Ling Xiao asked, Heart of gold? The heart of gold is trash in front of it. The mysterious man smiled and said, You'll understand in the future how magical this sword is. Ling Xiao was really shocked. He felt that the heart of gold was already a terrifying thing, but it was only trash in front of this sword. How powerful was this sword? The mysterious man gently stroked the sword in his hand, reluctant to part with it, as if he was reminiscing about the glorious past. I relied on it to make the golden sky region and existence second only to the eternal Emperor region. It's a pity that even now, I still can't fully understand the true essence of this sword. It's something that the laws don't allow to exist. If you possess it, it's equivalent to going against the laws of the King of Sovereigns. You'll face even more troubles and difficulties. This is my warning to you. Do you still want it? The mysterious man asked while looking at Ling Xiao. Why wouldn't I dare? Ling Xiao didn't even think before he smiled and said, his martial Tao was a heaven-defying Tao. Whether it was to restore the glory of the human race's sacred dynasty or to avenge his master, all of these would inevitably offend the 7 sovereigns and the King of Sovereigns. This was the path he walked. This sword to him was too suitable. I didn't misjudge you. Kid, you might be the only one who can control this sword. You might be even more suitable than me. Take it and see if it's willing to recognize you as its master. If it's unwilling, it's useless even if I want to give it to you. Finally, the mysterious man retracted his reluctant gaze and handed the sword to Ling Xiao. Chapter 46, 24. Do you know the characteristics of this sword? The mysterious man laughed. The pattern on the hilt should be the fierce beast Tao Tai from ancient times, right? Ling Xiao asked. There was a Tao Tai cub living in his universe of Tyrant. Tao Tai was also known as the Star, swallowing behemoth. It was said that it came from the extraterritorial region in ancient times. Since it's Tao Tai, it must be related to devouring. You actually know Tao Tai. Unfortunately, there is no real Tao Tai. If there is, this sword will be even more terrifying. The mysterious man laughed. Ling Xiao smiled secretly. He had a Tao Tai, although he hadn't taken it out for a walk for a long time. That guy was still alive and well in the universe of Tyrant. What if I have Tao Tai? He asked. If you have Tao Tai, this sword will be a real Tao Tai feast. Its devouring ability will become completely powerful. Tao Tai will reside in the sword space and make the power of this sword more terrifying. The mysterious man replied, Devour what? So what if it devours? Ling Xiao asked again. It can devour treasures, weapons, essence, and true essence. Treasures and weapons can make it evolve continuously. Essence, true essence, and true essence can make it stronger. The mysterious man said, I see. There is a weapon that can be cultivated. This is really surprising. Ling Xiao had never seen such a weapon. It could be cultivated like a martial artist. I call it the Tao Tai Feast. Of course, you can call it by another name. Reverse God Sword. Reverse God, not resigned to fate. Reverse God Sword. Ling Xiao liked this name. He did not like to live under the rules set by others. He wanted to be the one who made the rules. I like it, Ling Xiao said. That's good. Take it. The reverse God sword was finally in Ling Xiao's hand. The moment it was in his hand, Ling Xiao seemed to see a ferocious beast. It bared its fangs and brandished its claws, trying to devour him. Interesting. Ling Xiao laughed and woke up the sleeping Tao Tai. Tao Tai emerged from the universe of Tyrant. The mysterious man was stunned. You, who are you? He had thought of many things and felt that Ling Xiao was a rare genius. However, he did not expect Ling Xiao to possess the mountain and river martial spirit and the Tao Tai beast. He can be considered half a human king's successor, Ling Xiao said indifferently. At the same time, he sent the Tao Tai into the Void God sword. In that instant, the Void God sword blossomed with incomparably resplendent light. 9 dragon patterns were displayed. Furthermore, Ling Xiao could clearly sense that the Void God sword was alive. He had his own cultivation base. Furthermore, he was at the first level of the divine body realm. The Void God sword had 2 characteristics: holding it in his hand. It was a weapon that was constantly evolving. If released, it would be a ferocious beast, a beast that constantly cultivated. Currently, it was a weapon with 9 dragon patterns, a giant beast at the first level of the divine physique echelon. Who would have thought that the effect that this old man has always wanted but never been able to obtain would actually be realized by you? Looks like this sword belongs to none other than you. The mysterious man laughed excitedly, although he was expressionless, although his laughter was also very strange. He was really happy. This sword may have a limit, but this old man does not know where its limit is. It's better for you to experience it yourself. The mysterious man seemed to have put down a burden and was finally at ease. In theory, this sword had no upper limit. Of course, he would only know what it was in the future. Taoche's feast, this name was not bad. It was really vivid. However, Ling Xiao still preferred the name of the Void God Sword. The mysterious man continued. When this old man obtained it, it could only be regarded as a piece of scrap iron. Later, I discovered its secret. Finally, it became an emperor weapon with 9 dragon patterns. During this period of time, in order to save me, it turned itself into a weapon without dragon patterns. However, the Tao Tai entered it and revitalized it. Now its starting point is an emperor weapon with 9 dragon patterns. However, this old man reckons that if it wants to continue to advance, it will need to absorb more emperor weapons and essence. Where did this sword come from? Ling Xiao asked curiously. The depths of the eternal desert, the mysterious man said. In the eternal desert, there is a place that is much more powerful than the 4 regions and 9 worlds. We call it the Eternal City. It is also the closest force to the eternal desert. Forget it, no matter how much I say. You can't go there for the time being. It's better to steadily increase your strength. At this point, the mysterious man suddenly stopped. Senior, please explain more clearly. Ling Xiao longed to know the secret of this world. Forget it. There's no harm in telling you. Speaking of which, the warriors of the 4 regions and 9 worlds are actually like ants compared to the eternal desert. Even if an ant looked up at the sky, it was impossible for it to see how big the world was. However, the ants of the 4 regions and 9 worlds are also working hard. Finally, in the eternal desert that is closest to the 4 regions and 9 worlds, we found the Eternal City. It is called the Eternal City, but it is very big. It is bigger than the 4 regions and 9 worlds combined. The Eternal City controls tens of thousands of powerful forces around it. Some of these forces are countries, while others are sections. Countless experts are proud to be able to enter the Eternal City, because only by reaching the Eternal City can they find the key to the second reincarnation. Only then can they become the strongest on this continent. Perhaps it is their legendary god. There is a legend about the Eternal City. It is said that the 12 beast gods came from there. That is their home. Therefore, the Eternal City is also called the Black Tortoise Domain by many people who worship the beast gods. It means that the Black Tortoise continent is where the gods live. Why were the beast gods born, and why were they destroyed? These are all mysteries. This was the first time Ling Xiao had heard of the Eternal City. He only knew of the Eternal Desert. Now, it seemed that the mystery of the Eternal Desert was gradually being unveiled. Ling Yixue, Grandpa Hong Qi, and the secret of the 12 beast gods. Perhaps all of them could be revealed in the Eternal City. Thinking about it made him a little excited. Let's try to feed this guy first and see if it can level up. Ling Xiao took out a pile of monarch weapons. There were basically 3 or 4 dragon patterns. No, these are useless. If you want it to level up, at least let it devour monarch weapons of the same level. The mysterious man smiled. It can't be. Ling Xiao felt a little heartache. It actually wanted to devour monarch weapons with 9 dragon patterns. This was too exaggerated. But thinking about it, he now had 200 monarch weapons with 9 dragon patterns. He could only accept it. Hey, feed it crazily. The reverse god sword turned into a tautai and continuously devoured the monarch weapons. After devouring 100 monarch weapons with 9 dragon patterns, it finally had one more dragon pattern. Monarch weapon with 10 dragon patterns. 10 dragon patterns was already the most powerful monarch weapon of the mortal grade. How extravagant! Ling Xiao smiled bitterly. However, the fact that this thing could evolve was finally confirmed. Return. He let the reverse god sword return to the universe of Tyrant and turned into a tautai beast to rest. Come and read M. Chapter 46, 25. Senior, do you know that there's a cultivation technique in this reverse god sword? Ling Xiao suddenly asked. Cultivation technique? I don't know. The mysterious man was a little confused. I see. It seems that only by fusing with tautai can the cultivation technique appear. This cultivation technique is the reverse god art. It seems that I can't cultivate it for the time being. Ling Xiao was a little embarrassed. He knew this cultivation technique, but he couldn't cultivate it. It seemed that he could only slowly explore it. However, he was much better than this old senior from the Golden Sky region. The other party didn't even know that there was a cultivation technique like the reverse god art. Senior, is there anything I can help you with? Ling Xiao felt that this old senior had helped him too much, not to mention anything else. Just this reverse god sword had benefited him a lot. One had to have some conscience. Little guy, you're a conscientious person. However, I don't seem to have anything to entrust you with. Things have changed with the passage of time. I don't know if my family is still alive. If you reach the Golden City, please take this memory medal and find this person. I haven't been married in my life. I owe this woman a lot. She said that she would wait for me. If she's doing well, don't disturb her. If she's not doing well, please help her. Take the things in my storage ring. As he spoke, he tossed out a storage ring. Ling Xiao picked it up and put it into his Dongsheng emperor ring. He bowed 3 times to the mysterious man. Farewell. He turned to leave. Suddenly, he heard something shattering behind him. He stopped, but he couldn't bear to look back. Tears had already fallen from the corners of his eyes. He gritted his teeth and ran out. Don't worry, Senior. I'll definitely complete your entrustment. Taking a deep breath, he walked in the direction of Yu Xin's aura. It was still a door. After stepping through the door, they arrived at a magnificent hall. In the hall there was a shining ball. Yu Shen's remnant soul was sealed inside. Including these remnant souls, Yu Shen's 3 spiritual and 7 physical souls were only left with 3 spiritual souls. The 7 physical souls were all collected. Keep. For others, it could be said that it was very difficult to collect this thing. However, he had the spirit seat of the young god, so he didn't have to do it deliberately. The remnant soul would automatically return. As the 7 spirits of Yu Shen separated, Ling Xiao could clearly feel that Yu Shen's soul was getting stronger. Rumble. Oh no, this place is going to collapse. Let's go. Yuan Venerate said anxiously, this is a different dimension. If you are trapped inside, you may never be able to get out. Understood. Ling Xiao nodded. It was just that where they were going to leave this place was a problem. Just as he was feeling anxious, the Yu God Beast Soul appeared and guided him. Go. He sped away. At the same time, outside, Lotus Flower saw a shocking scene. The dark space-time corridor actually began to crumble. No. What the hell is this guy doing in there? Lotus Flower was furious. What he wanted was the good stuff in the space-time cloister, the Void God sword that he had been dreaming of. Unfortunately, it was all too late. The door was completely shattered. The space-time corridor completely disappeared. Damn it, damn it, damn it! Lotus Flower was extremely angry and irritable. Kill all the martial artists that came in. The dead spirit emperor's anger was burning wildly. It had reached the limit. Emperor, do we have to do it too? 10 Yama kings? No need. After collecting so much blood and souls, I have already opened the seal here. Come with me to find my other 2 avatars. As for those bastards, leave them to the dead Spirit King and the guards. Lotus Flower gradually calmed down. Although the Void God sword was something that he was determined to get, now that it had disappeared, there was no need to think about it anymore. It was better to focus on his own matters. Yes, Lotus Flower and the 10 Yama Kings left at the same time. However, what the dead Spirit Emperor didn't know was that a minute or 2 after he left, Ling Xiao appeared in the world of souls. This seems to be the shelter that I have been to before. Interesting, I didn't expect this place to be connected to the space-time corridor. Ling Xiao looked at the situation around him and smiled. Almost all the undead creatures here had been slaughtered. It should be the work of the Patriarch Society and the Beast Gods Alliance. The problem now was what to do next. According to the rules, he had to hand over half of the things to the Patriarch Society. Before he came in, he didn't take this rule seriously. The world of souls was originally an ownerless place. Whoever had the ability could take the things. Now that the Patriarch Society had forcefully occupied it, they made others work for them. Ling Xiao was very unhappy. Although he had already fed the Void God sword 100 Emperor armaments with 9 dragon patterns, there were still 100 Emperor armaments with 9 dragon patterns. There were also thousands of Emperor armaments with 3 dragon patterns and 4 dragon patterns. If he had to hand over half, he would die of heartache. Based on what? I fought with my life on the line. But in the end, you have to take advantage of me? No way. Cold Plum, Little Gold, and Donghuang, you were all released. Little Gold had Death and Withering, and Donghuang, you had Ghost Lamp. They were all Emperor armaments, with 9 dragon patterns. Ling Xiao gave the Black Tortoise token to Cold Plum. In this way, the 3 of them each had an Emperor armament with 9 dragon patterns. Their strength would definitely increase greatly. This was because Ling Xiao knew that he was about to face a very fierce battle, not against the undead race, but against the Patriarch Society. He was now at the 4th level of the core fragmentation realm, and his body had 8 dragon patterns. There were also divine venerables and demon venerables. And the Void God sword could also transform into a 1st level divine physique echelon Tao Tai to fight. It could be said that its combat strength was extremely strong, so he didn't care about those guys at all. Run, the undead race is rioting. Suddenly, a group of warriors rushed over from afar. These people were being chased by 11 undead kings and the undead army led by the Black and White Impermanents. The undead emperor's aura seems to have disappeared. Ling Xiao looked in the direction of the city of no return. The aura there had become much weaker. If the undead emperor was here, he might choose to escape. But now, it was time to release those trapped souls. Little Gold, Cold Plum, you, follow me and kill the undead race. Ling Xiao could choose to escape, but he didn't. He was almost killed by the undead emperor's scheme. He had to take revenge. Anyway, the undead emperor wasn't here now. It was a good time to stain the Void God sword with blood. The interesting thing about the Void God sword was that you could see its dragon patterns, but others couldn't. In this way, even if you took it out, it wouldn't be too eye-catching. Yes, Little Gold, Cold Plum, and Donghuang, you had been bored out of their minds in the Dongsheng Emperor Ring. When they heard this, they all cheered in unison. The 4 of them turned into 4 streaks of light, moving in the most beautiful reverse direction. Most people were running, but they pounced on the undead race. It immediately attracted the attention of many people. Who are those 4? Do they want to die? Idiot, don't you know Prince Jean and Kai Dai from the Savage Beast region? And that Donghuang Yu is a fugitive wanted by the Patriarch Society. Who's the other one? I think he's the one who killed Yu Hua, Tianruwei, and Yu Hua Tianmo, M. Chapter 46, 26. The appearance of Ling Xiao and the others clearly gave the human ancient martial art practitioners a huge advantage. The human martial artists originally had Shan Yu, Lang Qingqing, Zilin, and Bai Zilong, who were all at the first level of the divine physique echelon. With the addition of Ling Xiao and the rest, the undead spirit tribe was completely suppressed. The most powerful undead spirit king was only at the second level of the divine physique echelon. Also, because they had different souls and bodies, they couldn't unleash their true strength. Therefore, it was inevitable that there would be disagreements in the battle. Therefore, the 11 undead spirit kings were basically at a disadvantage. Ling Xiao faced the black and white deities. Facing 2 divine physique echelon powerhouses, he wasn't afraid at all. It was also his first time using the combination of 3 bodies: Demon Lord, Divine Lord, and True Lord, perfectly fused into one. It allowed Ling Xiao's combat strength to reach the 3rd level of the divine physique echelon instantly. With the reverse god sword in hand, the black and white deities were forced to retreat. In order to end the battle as soon as possible, Ling Xiao consecutively activated the Sun God's Blood Formation, the Dragon God's Frost Formation, and the Ocean God's Underworld Formation. The 3 formations combined into one. This caused the black and white deities to suffer. Of course, outsiders didn't see this battle because Ling Xiao used the martial soul barrier. He didn't want others to know that he had the Demon Lord and Divine Lord. Damn it, he actually got the reverse god sword. Even the Emperor didn't get it, but he got it. The black and white deities were terrified. Not only was Ling Xiao's combat strength off the charts, but the reverse god sword in his hand was also an emperor weapon with 10 dragon patterns. Even a 4th level divine physique echelon martial artist would be defeated, let alone a 3rd level divine physique echelon martial artist. You 2 bastards, under the dead spirit emperor's instigation, you actually made us kill each other. Today, I'll let you have a taste of death. Ling Xiao's attacks became more and more ferocious and powerful. Cosmic Light, Divine Fist. Suddenly, he used the Cosmic Light, Divine Fist. With the enhancement of the undead beast soul, the power of the Cosmic Light, Divine Fist also became more terrifying. At that moment, the black and white deities seemed to have entered a standstill. A look of extreme fear appeared on his face. Kill one first. The Cosmic Light, Godly Fist found White Impermanence's head and smashed down. With just one punch, the head exploded. After killing White Impermanence, Ling Xiao had the Void God's sword absorb his essence. In that instant, the Void God's sword's strength increased. He had reached the 2nd level of the divine physique echelon. As expected of an opponent at the 3rd level of the divine physique echelon, Black Impermanence saw that White Impermanence was killed. He frantically pounced on Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao sneered and used the holy ground demonic shadow to appear behind the Black Impermanence. The Void God's sword in his hand didn't need to use any technique. It simply stabbed down and pierced through Black Impermanence's head. In a battle of the same level, he would never lose to anyone. The feeling of being a powerhouse was really great. However, even though it felt good, it didn't help him improve his strength. Therefore, after killing Black Impermanence, Ling Xiao withdrew his Demon Lord and Divine Lord bodies. The Void God sword once again absorbed Black Impermanence's essence. But this time, there was no improvement. It seemed that after the Void God sword's cultivation improved, it needed more essence. If he wanted to improve again, he would have to kill at least 1/4 level divine physique echelon martial artist or many 3rd level divine physique echelon martial artists. He removed the martial soul barrier. Ling Xiao found that the human martial artists, who were originally at a disadvantage, had gained the upper hand. Of the 11 death spirit kings, the corpse ghost king had quietly disappeared. Only 10 were left. 2 were killed by Little Gold. Cold Plum killed 2. Demonic Flood Dragon killed 2. Of the remaining 4, 3 were killed by Shangyu, the Silver Dragon, and Zilin. The last, demonic infant king, wanted to escape, but was killed by Lang Qingqing and Dong Huangyu. At this point, of the 13 Death Spirit Kings, only the Corpse Ghost King was left. The Black and White Impermanents were also killed. If the Death Spirit Emperor came back, he would probably explode in anger. When the rest of the Death Spirit clan saw that the Death Spirit Kings were killed, they retreated like the tide. They entered the City of No Return and didn't come out. Ling Xiao didn't chase after them. The structure of the City of No Return was extremely complicated. There were some traps that even he couldn't predict. If he really went in, it would be hard for him to survive. However, even though the Death Spirit clan was defeated, Ling Xiao's troubles weren't over. The martial artists from the Patriarch Assembly and Beast Gods Alliance, who were no longer in danger, had their eyes on Ling Xiao and the others. Why are they so strong? They must have treasures in their hands. That's right. We can't let them take the treasures for themselves. We should have a share too. That's not good. If it weren't for them, we would have lost our lives. That's right. They saved our lives. The crowd was divided into 2 factions. More than half of them were blinded by greed and wanted to snatch the treasures from Ling Xiao and the others. The other small group chose to side with Ling Xiao and the others because they were indebted to Ling Xiao and the others for saving their lives. If I knew, I wouldn't have saved them. Dong Huangyu pouted. I just wanted to kill the Spirit Clan. I didn't mean to save them. Ling Xiao shook his head and said saving them was just a matter of convenience. Even so, I didn't expect some people to be so shameless. They just drank milk and turned around to curse. There are many scumbags in the Patriarch Assembly and Beast Gods Alliance. There are all kinds of birds in the forest. The White Silver Dragon sighed. I won't hand over the treasures I obtained. Whoever wants them can come and take them. Ling Xiao looked coldly at those people who were trying to snatch the treasures. He was never one to be afraid of trouble. His heavenly empire didn't need evil beings like the Death Spirit Emperor. He also didn't need these ungrateful dogs. Everyone, listen to me. According to the rules of the Patriarch Assembly, the treasures must be handed over and not for you to fight over. Even if you manage to snatch them now, they won't belong to you. Xingyu's attitude was much gentler than Ling Xiao's. After all, he was a well-known figure in the heavenly sacred ground. He didn't want to betray them. That's true. It's useless for us to snatch the treasures now. We will have to hand them over sooner or later. Everyone felt that Xingyu's words made sense. The greedy aura seemed to have decreased by a lot. No. What if they run away after leaving? It's best to imprison all of them. There were always people who fan the flames. Yes, imprison them. More and more people supported this decision. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a cold smile. If these people listened to Shangyu obediently, they could still live. But now they actually wanted to imprison them? Did they really think that they were made of mud? A bunch of idiots. These trash didn't even consider that Ling Xiao and the others could kill the Death Spirit Emperor, Black and White Impermanents. Who were they to make such a request? Perhaps in their eyes, Ling Xiao and the others wouldn't dare to attack them. After all, they were cultivators of the Patriarch Assembly and Beast Gods Alliance. Once they attacked them, they would be publicly declaring themselves enemies of the Beast Gods Alliance and the Patriarch Assembly. Chapter 46, 27. He looked at the cultivators who were clamoring to imprison him. Ling Xiao didn't waste any more words. He unsheathed the Void God sword. A terrifying aura filled the entire space. The broad blade exuded the ferocity of an ancient beast. There was even the ferocious roar of a Taotai. Boss is still the most direct. Little Gold smiled. Blazing flames enveloped his entire body. He originally had the bloodline of both beasts and demons. He also liked to use battle to solve problems. Ling Xiao's method was to his liking. The phantom of an ancient war, tree, appeared behind Cold Plum. The towering ancient tree's powerful aura made countless people tremble. Dong Huang, you held the ghost lamp in one hand and the 9 revolutions gourd in the other. She was extremely excited. This little girl's cultivation had broken through again. She was now at the 9th level of the Shattered Core realm. No one could compare to her cultivation speed. Even Ling Xiao couldn't compare. Perhaps it was because she had benefited a lot from following Ling Xiao during this period of time. So the speed of her cultivation had become even more terrifying. The silver dragon sighed. A spear appeared in his hand. Although he didn't want to do this, it was impossible for someone to imprison him. Xun Yu, Lang Qingqing, Zilin, and Mo Jiao were all geniuses. They were all arrogant. How could they imprison them? What, are you going to resist? A voice came from the crowd. Resist? Do you think that you can do anything to us just because you're a bunch of good-for-nothing? Xun Yu didn't want to fight before, but he didn't expect these people to take advantage of him. Ling Xiao held the Void God's sword and sneered. You trash were all saved by us, although I didn't want to save you at all. Now you're biting the hand that feeds you and trying to target us. Fine. Let me use this sword to send you trash into the abyss of death again. The things that I have on me were earned with my own ability and my own life. You want it? Exchange it with your life. Cold and arrogant. Supercilious. This was Ling Xiao. He now had the right to be arrogant. He could look down on the 4 regions and 9 worlds. A few Tom, Dick, and Harry actually wanted to threaten him. Was that even possible? Cries of surprise rang out from the crowd. No one had expected that Ling Xiao would actually be arrogant to such an extent. They didn't give face to the Patriarch Society or the Beast Deities Alliance. It was so overbearing that it was shocking. What was even stranger was that the rest of the people were actually going crazy with him. Xun Yu, Lang Qingqing, are you going to betray the holy lands of heaven? An old man from the heaven, holy land, questioned loudly. Even though he was only a half-step divine body realm martial artist, his qualifications were there for all to see, so he was pretty cocky. Betrayal? Haha, who do you think I am? You want to imprison us. I, Sheng Yu, will definitely be the next Holy Lord. Even the heaven, Holy Land has to listen to me. Who do you think you are to question me? Those who disobey me should be killed. In the past, Sheng Yu was one of the most popular candidates to be the successor of the Holy Lord. Now that he had made a breakthrough in his cultivation, his strength had increased, and he had a powerful ally like Ling Xiao. That would make him even more confident. These old fogies, whose cultivation was not even as strong as his, actually dared to order him around? Silver Dragon, do you have the same opinion? The old men from the golden firmament frowned and asked, That's right. Even though I'm not interested in Huang Jindi's position, Ling Xiao is the most outstanding martial artist in the golden firmament. He shouldn't be treated like this. Silver Dragon shook his head and said, People of the Savage Beast region, listen up. You'd better get out of the way. Otherwise, if you anger me and the Kai Dai Saintess, you'll be killed without mercy. Xiao Jin revealed her true form. The huge golden crow circled in the air, its blazing flames making the faces of the surrounding martial artists ugly. Retreat. The martial artists from the Savage Beast region retreated. Most of the martial artists from the Heaven Holy Land also retreated. Both Sheng Yu and Lang Qingqing had the potential to become the Holy Lord of the Heaven Holy Land in the future. They couldn't afford to offend them. Some of the martial artists from the Golden Firmament also retreated. Although Silver Dragon's status was not as high as Huang Jinlan's, he was still one of the top 5 geniuses in the Golden City. Most importantly, his master was revered. They couldn't afford to offend him either. People of the Beast Deities Alliance, follow me. Mo Jiao was even more overbearing. In the Beast Deities Alliance, he was the only successor that the Alliance master had acknowledged. Who dared to disobey him? They were courting death. In the end, almost half of them left. Those who stayed were mostly martial artists from the Deep Sea Dragon region, Eternal Emperor region, and the other 9 realms. There were also some old people from the Golden City who refused to leave. Perhaps he wanted to rely on his qualifications to show off. Ling Xiao, you better think carefully. You're still in the observation stage. If you make a grave mistake, the Golden City will not let you join. An old man sneered. Young man, for your own future, you better not be rash. Chi, a sword light, cut through the void and pierced the old man's throat. I'm going to try today. If I kill you, will the Golden City not want me anymore? Ling Xiao sneered disdainfully. Actually, with his current strength, the Golden City was no longer attractive to him unless the Golden Emperor was willing to accept him as a disciple. If the Golden City did not want him, there would be a place for him to stay. He was also not that desperate to join the Golden City. You dare to kill me. The old man had never imagined that Ling Xiao would actually be so audacious. He actually dared to kill him. Although his cultivation level was not high, he was highly respected in the Golden City. He had even guided the warlord, Huang Jinlan, in his cultivation. Although he was not a master, he was still a teacher. This brat actually dared to kill him. This brat is crazy. Everyone, let's work together and kill him. The martial artists from the 9 realms, Deep Sea Dragon region, and Eternal Emperor region realized that if they let Ling Xiao and the others out, they would not even be able to get a single treasure. Even if they handed it over, it would have nothing to do with them. Therefore, they were emboldened and pounced on Ling Xiao. You're courting death. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed coldly. Void God Sword, you can eat your fill this time. Ling Xiao did not even need to use the array diagram to deal with these trash. He directly used the Holy Ground Demonic Shadow and dashed into the crowd. He did not use any moves either. He just used the Void God Sword's normal attacks to kill. You're the first. In front of Ling Xiao was a half-step divine body realm martial artist from the Deep Sea Dragon region. The Void God Sword stabbed out. There was no sympathy in his eyes. Brat, you're looking down on me too much. How dare you use normal attacks like this? The martial artist roared and punched out with both fists. The force of the punch was simply unstoppable. Oh no, if he kills Ling Xiao, the treasure will fall into his hands. In everyone's eyes, Ling Xiao was still a martial artist at the 4th level of the Shattered Core stage. After all, they did not see Ling Xiao kill the black and white deities. Therefore, they were not sure how strong Ling Xiao was. They all rushed over. However, in the next moment, the Void God Sword pierced through the half-step divine body, realm martial artist's arms, and stabbed into his body. Chapter 46, 28. Roar. Tao Jie's roar resounded. The poor guy who was hit by the Void God Sword was directly sucked dry. He didn't even have time to scream. The surrounding people looked at this scene in horror, and their expressions changed drastically. The might of Ling Xiao's combat power was truly beyond their expectations. At the same time, Little Gold, Cold Plum, and the others had already launched their attacks. The scene was a mess. Some people tried to deal with the weaker Dong Huangyu, but they didn't expect to be killed by Gui Deng and the 9 Revolution Gourd. When Dong Huangyu was in the chaotic desert ocean, she was more soft-hearted and was almost killed. Ever since she received Ling Xiao's guidance, she became more decisive. If her enemies wanted to kill her, she would never be soft-hearted. If she had to kill, she would kill. She would never give her enemies a chance to kill her. Damn it! Why are these people so terrifying? Don't be afraid. They have fewer people. They will get tired sooner or later. Some people were timid, while others were still excited. They were blinded by greed and didn't know what they were doing. They didn't know what stupid things they had done. The martial artists from the Deep Sea Dragon region and Eternal Emperor region attacked Ling Xiao the most ferociously. They probably knew that Ling Xiao killed Wang Quan under the heavens and the Deep Sea Dragon region. The Thunder Astral Realm, Tempest Astral Realm, Raging Flame Astral Realm, and Abyss Devil Region also surrounded him. Ling Xiao guessed that these people might have used some special method to find out that their dead geniuses were related to Ling Xiao. No matter what, they were already here. Ling Xiao didn't need to retreat. There are so many of you. Looks like if I don't go all out, you won't know fear. 12 Divine Beast Technique, 11th level. Ling Xiao's 12 Divine Beast Technique was already at the 11th level. He fused the Hell Nightmare's demonic beast core into it. When he released it, it actually had an extremely strong soul-threatening effect. Many martial artists seemed to be frightened and fled in all directions. They were completely defenseless. Immediately after, the huge sword chi formed by the 11 giant beasts landed on the crowd. With just one sword strike, he had killed more than 100 core fragmentation realm martial artists. Among them, there were even 7 or 8 half-step divine physique realm martial artists. The 12 divine beast technique from the Void God's sword seemed to be even more terrifying than the Dong Sheng God-Demon sword. Its power had increased by at least 10 times. No, I can't block it anymore. This guy is simply a freak. He's only at the 4th level of the Shattered Core stage. How can his attacks be so powerful? Many people were killed to the point that their hearts turned cold. The sword in Ling Xiao's hand clearly did not have a single dragon pattern, but the attack it released was terrifyingly powerful. This could only be explained by Ling Xiao's own strength. At the same time, Xiao Jin had already killed dozens of people. This guy had been with Ling Xiao for a long time, and he had never shown any mercy before. Everywhere it passed, it was simply scorched earth. There were countless casualties. Cold Plum's attacks were even more terrifying. Countless roots suddenly protruded from the ground. Any martial artist that was entangled by the roots actually became like marionettes. He was easily controlled by Cold Plum. He began to kill his own people. Silver Zilong, Lang Qingqing, Shengyu, and the others, on the other hand, were gentler. Because they all thought they were from the Council of Patriarchs, they only repelled or injured their opponents. They had no intention of killing them. We surrender. We surrender. We don't want to fight anymore. Suddenly, cries of surprise came from the crowd. Many people began to beg for mercy. They were really scared of being killed. Not only Ling Xiao, but Xiao Jin and the others were also very terrifying. They finally realized that they were doing a stupid thing. They actually dared to challenge a divine body realm martial artist. They were really reckless. Silver Zilong, Shengyu, Lang Qingqing, and even Mo Jiao stopped. However, Ling Xiao did not stop. Xiao Jin did not stop. Cold Plum did not stop. Dong Huang, you did not stop either. Kill as you please? Stop as you please? Did they think this was a game? From the moment Ling Xiao decided to raise his butcher's knife, he had no intention of letting these people go. He would kill them all first. Ling Xiao, are you crazy? Do you really want to kill us all? We are all from the Council of Patriarchs, martial artists from the 4 regions and 9 worlds. The martial artists who were arrogant and wanted to imprison Ling Xiao and the others just now only felt fear. Now you remember that we are family? What did you say just now? That you want to kill us? That you want to imprison us? Haha. Do you think you can live as long as you beg for mercy? I already gave you a chance before, but you didn't know how to cherish it. You can't blame anyone else. Speaking like gold, he killed the person who spoke with a sword. Then he disappeared. When he reappeared, another 2 or 3 lives were lost. The Void God sword frantically absorbed essence. However, perhaps because these people were too weak, they did not advance. It seemed that he had to let it drink more of the blood of experts. Ling Xiao, do you want to stay in the world of souls forever? Don't forget, once you go out, the experts outside will definitely not let you go. Someone was bluffing. So what? Do you think I'm afraid? There was no fear in Ling Xiao's eyes at all. On the contrary, he seemed to be very excited. It was as if encountering experts was simply a gift to him. The feeling of being powerful was really good. No matter where you went, as long as you had strength, you would have dignity. Otherwise, not only would your dignity be lost, but your things would also become someone else's. Just like this time, if he did not have strength, he would probably have been killed by these people. How would there be a chance? Finally, the crazy killing ended. The martial artists who previously clamored to imprison Ling Xiao were all killed. Even the corpses were burned to ashes. The things on them were all put away by Ling Xiao into the Dongxing Emperor. Perhaps to him, these things were no longer considered much. But to the Heavenly Empire, to the Battle Alliance, these were priceless treasures. With these things, they would become even stronger. One person's strength was not really considered strong. After all, the strength of one person was ultimately limited. But if the entire Heavenly Empire became stronger, it would be a different story. Xing Yu, Baiyin Zilong, Lang Qingqing, and even Mo Jiao looked at Ling Xiao. There was actually some fear in their eyes, some admiration. Previously, in their eyes, Ling Xiao was just a small figure not worth mentioning. But after the trip to the world of souls, it seemed that everything had changed. Ling Xiao was no longer a weakling. Instead, he was a true powerhouse, a powerhouse who was far above them. However, is it really wise to choose him? Xing Yu smiled bitterly. Ling Xiao's current actions were simply making an enemy of the entire 4 regions and 9 worlds. Wise. Lang Qingqing said, "Since you've made your choice, don't regret it. No matter what the result is, just persevere. In this world, the most disgusting thing is repeated villains." Haha, I don't see it as clearly as you. Xing Yu smiled. That's true. That kid has already broken out of the city of no return. What else can't he do? Just follow him. Chapter 46-29. You can leave now. Go back and tell the other factions that no one can take away what belongs to me. Ling Xiao, Baiyin Zilong you should go back to. Don't ruin your great future in the Golden Sky region because of me. Also, remind the people in the Golden City that with me, Ling Xiao, the Golden Sky region will definitely prosper. Don't force me. Otherwise, I'll leave the Golden Sky region. I believe some people will regret it. These words really made the remaining people turn pale with fright. Even the Baiyin Zilong was shocked. Because Ling Xiao's words were a warning to the entire 4 regions and 9 worlds. How did he have the guts to do that? What did he gain? Ling Xiao naturally didn't fear the 4 regions and 9 worlds. At worst, he could go to the Beast Deities Union. If worst came to worst, he could take the Battle Alliance and occupy the world of souls. This place was very safe. In short, Ling Xiao already had the qualifications to challenge the 4 regions and 9 worlds. That was why he dared to say that. Who would dare to snatch something from the hands of an eternal life emperor? Was it because they didn't want it? Was it because the eternal emperor was powerful? Although Ling Xiao couldn't compare to the eternal emperor now, he wasn't someone who could be bullied by just anyone. Let's go. The Baiyin Zilong left with the Golden Sky region's martial artists. Mo Jiao left with the Beast Deities Union's martial artists. Xing Yu and Lang Qingqing left with the Heaven Sacred Grounds martial artists. Zi Lin left with the Savage Beast region's martial artists. However, the one thing that would never change was his blood contract. Even if he was unconvinced by Xiao Jin, it didn't mean anything. We'll wait for you in the chaotic desert. Qi Niming and the others also left. This was just a small disturbance. An even bigger one would probably start in the chaotic desert. Ling Xiao wanted to see if the Golden City would protect him or work together to deal with him this time. This was a test for the Golden City. It would also determine his future strategy. Would he appease them or kill them? Watching the crowd leave, Ling Xiao revealed a smile. Boss, are we going back? Going back this time was like going into a wolf's den. Those old fellows must be eager to get their hands on all the good things you have. Xiao Jin asked, "Scared?" Ling Xiao smiled. "Scared? Why would I be afraid? As long as I follow boss, there's nothing to be afraid of." Little Gold said, "I just don't understand. Boss, what are you after? With your current strength, even if you follow me to the savage beast region, no one will dare to fart." "You think too simply." Ling Xiao shook his head and said, "If I go to the savage beast region, I might make things difficult for you. If the Beast Emperor also wants my things, what will you do?" "What's so difficult about that? Of course I'm on your side, boss," Xiao Jin said. "Thank you very much, but this is not fair to you." Ling Xiao shook his head and said, "Well, whether it's you or Cold Plum, I really appreciate your support. But now I am still a disciple of the Golden Sky region. There are also many friends and relatives there. I can't just walk away like that." "That's true." Little Gold nodded. "Men have to be responsible. They can't only care about themselves." Ling Xiao looked at Little Gold, Cold Plum, and Dong Huangyu. "You don't have to worry. When the time comes, just stay in the Dong Sheng Emperor Ring. You have me. If I dare to go, then I have the ability to protect myself. This time, the experts of the 4 regions and 9 worlds will not dare to look down on me. Let's go." Ling Xiao lifted his feet and walked towards the exit. "Why are you still here?" After walking for a while, when he was about to reach the exit, Ling Xiao saw Mo Jiao waiting there. However, the Beast Gods Alliance's martial artists were already gone. "I'm waiting for you." Mo Jiao smiled and said, "I'm waiting here because I want to tell you something." "Oh." Ling Xiao looked at Mo Jiao and was a little confused. "I'll say the same thing again. If you can't stay in the 4 regions and 9 worlds anymore, come to the Beast Gods Alliance. Although, as you said, the Beast Gods Alliance might not be that good. But after all, I'm only second to the Alliance Master there. I have a way to protect you," Mo Jiao said. To be honest, Ling Xiao was a little touched. At this point, Mo Jiao still dared to take him in. It was obvious that he was not worried about becoming enemies with the Patriarch Society. Although the Beast Gods Alliance was very strong, it was still not as strong as the combined strength of the 4 regions and 9 worlds. It required courage to extend an olive branch at this time. "Can I not answer?" Ling Xiao did not reject or agree. "Up to you." Mo Jiao did not force him. After all, he was not the kind of person who would take advantage of others. "Then I won't say." Mo Jiao smiled and said, "However, if you leave here, there will be Divine Body Realm experts outside. You will be surrounded. No matter how strong you are, it's useless to be afraid." "It's fine. I just want to establish my power in front of them." Ling Xiao had already observed, before he came in, the strongest Divine Body Realm experts outside was only at the 2nd level of the Divine Body Realm. He did not need to be afraid at all. "How dare you? Is there anything you need me to do? Just tell me." Mo Jiao was really impressed by Ling Xiao. "I want to take a look at the place known as the First Secret Realm," Ling Xiao said. The 2nd Secret Realm was the world of dead souls. The First Secret Realm was in the territory of the Beast Gods Alliance. It was known as the Eternal Historical Site outside. However, it obviously had a real name. It was called the Graveyard of the Gods. Ling Xiao wanted to go to the Graveyard of the Gods because he was absorbing the remnant soul of Yushin. According to the guidance, there was not only Yushin's soul in the Graveyard of the Gods, but also the remains of Yushin's son. Therefore, it was obvious that he had to go to that place. If he obtained those things, his strength would only become stronger. He would also have more authority in the future. You actually want to go to the Graveyard of the Gods? Let me remind you that there is no restriction on strength in the Graveyard of the Gods. In other words, the people who go in are likely to be Divine Body Realm experts. If you want to obtain a complete victory like this time, I'm afraid it won't be easy. Mo Jiao reminded him. Moreover, you're not an expert of the Beast Gods Alliance. It will be difficult for you to enter the graveyard of the gods. Cut it out. Don't tell me that as the young master of the Beast Gods Alliance, you don't even have this bit of authority. Ling Xiao laughed. Hee hee, I like what you said. However, I have to remind you that the news of you killing Tiger Soul has not spread out yet. Don't expose it. Although Tiger Soul is arrogant, he has a powerful father. He is also a Vice Alliance Master in the Beast Gods Alliance. Although you might not be afraid, it won't be a good thing if you provoke him. Mo Jiao reminded him. Understood. I won't get myself into trouble. Ling Xiao nodded. That's for the best. I'll take my leave first. Our paths are different. If you come to the territory of the Beast Gods Alliance, remember to contact me. I will look for you personally. After Mo Jiao finished speaking, he turned around and left. The Beast Gods Alliance is quite powerful. They actually found another path to the world of dead souls. No wonder so many experts could enter. Looking at Mo Jiao leaving, Ling Xiao lifted his leg and continued to walk forward. In his opinion, although the Beast Gods Alliance's overall strength was not as strong as the 4 regions and 9 worlds, they were more united. Chapter 4630. The Exit or the Entrance. Walking on the way, Ling Xiao felt a little emotional. Although the time spent in the space-time corridor had been returned because Yu Shen's remnant soul was collected, it had been more than 10 days since he entered the world of souls. These 10 days were indeed not long, but it allowed Ling Xiao to make huge progress. Especially after obtaining this Void God Sword, it really opened up his heaven-defying path. What would be waiting for him outside the exit? I'm guessing that some people can't wait to kill you, boss? Xiao Jin laughed. Who are you? From Yu Hua Divine Sect? Ling Xiao frowned. This was really possible. When he entered the world of souls, Yu Hua Jun did not do anything to him because he was injured. Moreover, he was also responsible for the mission of the Board of Patriarchs to seize the treasure. It was not easy to do it, but the situation now was completely different. Ling Xiao had already spread the word that he would definitely not hand over the things he obtained. The Board of Patriarchs could not protect him at all. Therefore, the sect master of Yu Hua Divine Sect would definitely take this opportunity to kill him. The moment he stepped out of the world of souls, Ling Xiao laughed. Xiao Jin, you really jinxed it. The people outside were all from the Jade Flower Divine Sect. Apart from the thousands of core fragmentation realm martial artists, there were actually as many as 7 divine body realm powerhouses. 2 of them had even reached the 2nd level divine body realm. They were all old monsters. He did not expect that this time all of them would come out. It seemed that this Yu Hua Divine Sect was also very ambitious. Aren't you all from Yu Hua Divine Sect? You all are filial to actually come here to welcome me? Ling Xiao looked at Yu Hua Jun with a smile. He knew better than anyone else the purpose of the other party here. It was just that no matter what, he would not be able to escape a battle. He did not have the thought of escaping. Boss, what should we do? Xiao Jin asked. What can we do? Of course, we'll do it. Ling Xiao laughed and said, I've waited for so long, I can't wait for nothing, right? He killed Yu Hua Divine Sect's Heavenly Demon Yu Hua and Yu Hua Tianrui. No matter what the reason was, this old thing would definitely not let him off easily. Yu Huajun requested an order from the Council of Patriarchs to capture Ling Xiao with all their might. That was why they had replaced the people here with the Yu Hua Divine Sect. The Council of Patriarchs seemed to have a lot of trust in him and entrusted this important task to him. But then again, these 7 divine body realm experts and over 1,000 core fragmentation realm martial artists. It was definitely a terrifying combination. Wouldn't capturing Ling Xiao be as easy as reaching out his hand? Perhaps the Council of Elders had miscalculated Ling Xiao's strength. They had no idea what Ling Xiao had experienced in the world of souls and how strong he had become. You're still so relaxed even after seeing me. Even I have to admire you. Yu Huajun stood there as her subordinates blocked all of Ling Xiao's escape routes. He knew very well that this was his only chance for revenge. Originally, he thought that it would take a long time, and that Ling Xiao couldn't have grown so quickly. However, Ling Xiao created one miracle after another, miracles that shocked him greatly. He couldn't wait any longer. The pain of losing his son had to be avenged. You admit that you killed my 2 sons, right? Yu Huajun asked. Yes. Ling Xiao said indifferently. I've always admitted it. It's just that you people from Yu Hua Divine sect seem to have some problems with your brains. You just don't believe it. It's one thing for you, Hua Tianrui, to make things difficult for me everywhere, but he actually dared to send people to assassinate me. I could only kill him. Heavenly demon Yu Hua thought that he was infallible and saved you, Hua Tianrui, trapping me. He wanted to use the 9 underworld water to kill me, so I killed him too. It's that simple. It's the father's fault for not teaching them well. They courted death. That's also because Yu Huajun didn't teach them well. You can't blame me. What's the use of saying all this? My son was wrong, so I'll teach him. It's not your turn to kill him. Yu Huajun said coldly. If I knew it would be like this, I would have killed them, because it's impossible for you to side with an outsider. Ling Xiao said indifferently. Boom! Yu Huajun suddenly released the terrifying aura of a divine physique realm martial artist. This guy was probably the strongest divine physique realm first-level martial artist that Ling Xiao had ever seen. That aura was much more terrifying than Yu Chen, Zilin, and the others who had just broken through. When that aura was released, the surrounding environment seemed to be affected, becoming incomparably hot. The scorching aura enveloped Ling Xiao, Little Gold, Cold Plum, and Dong Huangyu. If it was before, they would probably only be able to run away. But now, each of them had a calm expression on their faces, without the slightest hint of panic. Poor Yu Huajun, if we made a move before we entered the world of dead souls, you might still have a chance. But now, you no longer have a chance. Ling Xiao smiled coldly. Do it! As he gave the order, Li Yundong's expression changed. Little Gold and Cold Plum pounced out at the same time. Each of them held back a second-level divine physique realm elder. These 2 old men were the key this time. Even if Little Gold and Cold Plum were no match for them, as long as they could hold them back for 10 minutes, then they would win. Dong Huang, you also pounced towards a first-level divine physique realm martial artist. Out of the 7 divine physique realm martial artists, they had taken 3 of them. There were still 4 left. One of them was the strongest Yu Huajun. At the same time, Ling Xiao released the demon's sovereign body and charged into the thousands of shattered core realm martial artists. He released the divine sovereign body and held back 3 first-level divine physique realm martial artists. The only one left was Yu Huajun. You want to take revenge? Here's your chance. Ling Xiao wasn't in a hurry to leave, so he could have a good fight with Yu Huajun. A senior like this would definitely benefit him a lot after a battle. There was no end to cultivation, no matter if it was the Void God's sword or him. They both needed to train and improve through battles. You're really daring. A divine core realm martial artist defeating a divine physique realm martial artist. I've never heard of such a thing. Ling Xiao's choice seemed to be exactly what Yu Huajun wanted. He gathered all the aura that was leaking out and aimed it at Ling Xiao. I've never heard of it. That's because you're just a frog at the bottom of a well. Ling Xiao said with an indifferent tone. It wasn't the first time he killed a first-level divine physique realm martial artist with his divine core cultivation. Why aren't you afraid? Why aren't you trembling? Why are you so calm? Yu Huajun was really unhappy. He wanted to see Ling Xiao trembling. He He wanted to see Ling Xiao terrified. He hated Ling Xiao's current expression. "You'll find out soon enough," Ling Xiao said with a smile. "Stop trying to act mysterious. I'll kill you right now. Divine palm of the great sun." Following his cold shout, Yi Zichen shouted. A golden sun appeared behind him. A terrifying heat was emitted. A terrifying palm seal was formed on his hands. A huge palm wind broke through the air and attacked. Everywhere it passed, it turned into a mess. Trees were broken, rocks were shattered. That's it. This is so disappointing. Ling Xiao quickly transformed into his peerless heavenly rat beast soul form. A powerful fist energy was blasted out. Tyrannical divine fist. This was a fist technique that was developed from the Golden Lotus Scroll. The principle behind it was the same as the Divine Fist and Devil Fist. Mobile version update website. M. Chapter 4631. Boom! The Great Sun Divine Fist and the domineering Divine Fist collided. Yu Huajun obviously had the upper hand. Ling Xiao was blasted into a pile of rubble and didn't move for a long time. Yu Huajun only retreated 2 to 3 meters. "Don't play dead. I know you won't die so easily." Yu Huajun roared, "Come out." Ling Xiao stood up from the rubble and patted the dust off his body. He smiled and said, as expected of a divine body realm martial artist, "If I don't think of ways to increase my strength, I won't be a match for you. You're not hurt?" Even though Yu Huajun knew that her punch wouldn't have been able to kill Ling Xiao, Yu Huajun knew that her punch wouldn't have killed him. However, he couldn't accept that Ling Xiao wasn't hurt at all. At the same time, the battle on the other side of the battlefield was also intense. The most relaxed one was Ling Xiao, the Demon Lord. Facing thousands of core fragmentation realm martial artists was simply a massacre. The Dongsheng demonic sword in his hand was stained with blood and released terrifying roars. The Dongsheng demonic sword and Dongsheng heavenly sword were originally made from materials from ferocious beasts. Although the ferocious beasts were dead, their ferocity was still there. Ling Xiao, the ultimate god, also had the upper hand against 3 first-level divine body realm martial artists. The battle was probably going to end soon. After all, a second-level divine body realm martial artist was much stronger than a first-level divine body realm martial artist. Dong Huangyu and the first-level divine body realm martial artists were evenly matched. It wasn't going to be easy to end the battle. Cold Plum and Xiao Jin were in a bit of trouble. The 2 old men were more experienced and stronger than them. Their advantage was their youth and stamina, as well as their spirit of never giving up. Although they were at a disadvantage, it shouldn't be a problem for them to stall for 10 minutes. "Prince Jin, you're already so outstanding. Why are you following that Ling Xiao? You'll destroy yourself." The old man wanted to take down Xiao Jin quickly, but the result was much more difficult than he expected. Helpless, he started to attack mentally. "Old man, stop talking nonsense and save your energy. Don't tire yourself out." Xiao Jin sneered. Although he was at a disadvantage, he felt great. It had been a long time since he had fought to his heart's content. This time he had to perfect his fighting style in battle. The experience of the old guys was very helpful. Because of this, he did not use the 9 dragon inscriptions emperor weapon, Death and Wither. If he used it, the battle would probably end very quickly. A 9 dragon vein monarch weapon was extremely terrifying in the hands of a divine physique realm martial artist. Even a martial artist at the 9th level of the divine physique echelon would have to be wary, let alone a martial artist at the 2nd level of the divine physique echelon. On the other side, Cold Plum was in a similar situation, but Cold Plum was clearly stronger than Xiao Jin. After all, he had broken through to the divine body realm earlier. Cold Plum didn't use the monarch armament with 9 dragon patterns either, because it wasn't time yet. Hee hee, it seems like your people are not good enough. It's been half a day, and they still haven't been able to kill my people. Ling Xiao floated into the air with a smile. He looked at Yu Huajun and said, "Brother, you miscalculated again. It's no use. You want to mess with my emotions? Dream on." Yu Huajun sneered. "Fine, you can think whatever you want. Anyway, I've already said what I wanted to say. If you still insist on killing me, then I won't hold back anymore." Ling Xiao sneered. "So what if you won't hold back? I'll kill you right now." Yu Huajun pounced on Ling Xiao again. Sun God's blood formation. Ling Xiao didn't plan to fight this guy head-on. It was obvious that he couldn't win. He had better methods. The formation opened, and all three effects appeared. Ling Xiao used the second level of the bloodthirsty rat right away. It increased his combat strength by 10 times. At the same time, the bloodthirsty rat in the formation kept weakening his opponent's strength. However, he didn't use the Void God sword. It felt like bullying. The Void God sword was an emperor weapon with 10 dragon patterns. If he took it out, Yu Huajun would be completely suppressed. This was not in line with his plan. So Ling Xiao only took out the Ghost King sword. This monarch armament with 4 dragon marks was quite powerful. Seeing this, Yu Huajun didn't dare to be negligent and also took out her weapon. It was also an emperor weapon with 4 dragon patterns. After all, she was the leader of the Yuhua sect. It wouldn't make sense if she didn't have an emperor weapon with 4 dragon patterns. Yu Huajun's weapon was very strange. It was round and about 2 feet in diameter. The edges were jagged. Above the center of the circle was a fiery red crystal. Below it was a handle that could be grasped. This weapon could be used to attack and also as a shield for defense. It was really good. Today, I want to see you, the genius who is admired by the Golden Prince and Kai Dai Saintus. What are you capable of? Yu Huajun took out her weapon and seemed to be instantly confident. She was really a frog at the bottom of a well. Was it worth it to give up an emperor weapon with 4 dragon patterns? I have a lot of them in my Dongsheng emperor ring. Stop talking nonsense. Just hurry up and come. Although Ling Xiao didn't seem to care, he didn't dare to underestimate his enemy. Facing Yu Huajun, not only did he use the second level of the bloody rat devil art, he also unleashed the martial soul of Tyrant. He had no choice but to do this when facing a divine physique realm warrior. As long as he was still a divine core warrior, it would be troublesome. After all, there was a huge difference between true Yuan and divine Yuan, although the quality of his true Yuan was much stronger than others. Of course, this time, the martial soul of Tyrant merged with his body. Kill! Yu Huajun attacked once again. The sun wheel in her hand suddenly shone with a dazzling light. In an instant, Ling Xiao lost his vision. After that, he could sense a terrifying killing intent approaching. Flee! Within the child god's blood formation, the earth-crossing golden light technique could be used at will. However, it couldn't control the direction. It was a technique to escape from the enemy. It was different from the Saint Ground Devil Shadow. The Saint Ground Devil Shadow could control the direction. However, in terms of speed, it was slower than the earth-crossing golden light technique. Within the child god's blood formation, the earth-crossing golden light technique could be considered as teleportation. Flee! While fleeing, Ling Xiao regained his vision. The Ghost King's sword unleashed a sword beam. Slash! It pierced through Yu Huajun's clothes. A layer of golden armor was revealed. Ha ha ha, you didn't expect this, did you? I'm wearing an Emperor weapon-grade armor with 4 dragon marks. With your strength, you won't be able to pierce through it. Yu Huajun let out a wild laugh. Fuck, you think you're invincible just because you're wearing a turtle shell? Why is there such an idiot? Ling Xiao shook his head. If Yu Huajun was wearing an Emperor weapon-grade armor with 10 dragon marks, he might have a headache. But now he was having a headache. It was just an Emperor weapon-grade armor with 4 dragon marks, and his Ghost King sword could still pierce through it. Residual blood. Ignoring Yu Huajun's smirk, Ling Xiao continued to attack. The residual blood was much stronger than the fleeing light technique. At this moment, Yu Huajun chose to dodge. Don't you dare dodge. Don't you think your armor is awesome? Ling Xiao mocked Yu Huajun while attacking. Chapter 4632. Yu Huajun felt really awkward. He was confident that his golden armor could block all of Ling Xiao's attacks. But when he was about to die, he still chose to dodge. Because he was scared. Ling Xiao's residual blood through the Ghost King's sword made him feel the pain of being cut apart. Solar storm. Angry. The red crystal on Yu Huajun's sun chakram started burning. After that, a crimson gale swept towards Ling Xiao, blotting out the sky and covering the earth. So strong! Ling Xiao furrowed his brows. Even though he had the black tortoise divine body, which was equivalent to 8 dragon marks, he didn't dare to take it head-on. Yu Huajun did have some tricks up his sleeve. After being strengthened by the sun chakram, this attack was really powerful. Divine Dragon Freezing Formation. Because the solar storm had filled the entire divine blood formation, Ling Xiao couldn't dodge it. Therefore, he thought of a good idea. Following the release of the freezing formation, the solar storm slowed down. A few seconds later, it completely froze, turning into ice crystals that filled the sky. Ha ha ha, Yu Huajun. Your solar storm is nothing special. Ling Xiao let out a wild laugh. Hearing Ling Xiao's laughter, Yu Huajun felt really annoyed. Why was he so conflicted when dealing with a divine core warrior? He was simply being played like an idiot by his opponent. Damn this guy. Because he was relaxed, Ling Xiao had the time to pay attention to the other battles in the airport. The sovereign Ling Xiao's battle was coming to an end. The hierarch Ling Xiao had killed 2 first-level divine physique realm warriors. Dong Huangyu's battle was still going on, and it seemed like neither side could do anything to the other. It was obvious that Dong Huangyu was learning through battle. Or else, once the ghost lantern was used, her opponent would die instantly. Right now, Xiao Jin had transformed into a huge golden crow. With just his human form, it was hard for him to be the old man's match. Right now, he looked like a bright sun. His entire body was covered in terrifying flames. These flames could be controlled by him at will. Slowly, he recovered some of his disadvantage. The old man's frown deepened. Everyone knew that the battle prowess of beasts would increase drastically after they reverted to their original forms. But Xiao Jin's increase was simply too much. Behind Cold Plum, a towering tree suddenly appeared. Her figure disappeared before the old man's eyes like a ghost. Only the ancient war tree was left, releasing a terrifying aura and continuously attacking the old man. This girl is really hard to deal with. The old man frowned. Although he had the upper hand in the beginning, it was only because he was experienced. However, as the battle progressed, his experience gradually became insufficient. Moreover, the other party's learning ability was extremely strong. Basically, she had completely adapted to his rhythm. Sect leader, you don't have any skills in battle? We're in trouble now. Yu Huajun was also depressed. He even released his martial soul. He even took out his monarch armament. However, he was completely unable to suppress Ling Xiao. In a fit of rage, he swallowed a pill. Insane demon life reducing pill. Ling Xiao could not help but cry out in surprise. This insane demon life reducing pill was very famous in the eternal divine pill scripture. To increase one's battle prowess by several times, one would have to reduce one's lifespan by several years. This Yu Huajun was crazy. Yu Huajun's current age was already more than 200 years old. He still had more than 100 years of age left. Although it was impossible to use all of it, it was still possible to use it for more than 90 years. His strength had increased by more than 90 times. Ling Xiao was really in trouble. Old lunatic! Ling Xiao cursed. That's right, I'm a lunatic. I'm completely crazy. I didn't expect that not only are you talented, but your strength has also grown to such an extent. I'm no match for you, at least I can't kill you. Therefore, I had no choice but to use the insane demon life reducing pill. Yu Huajun had consumed 10 years of his lifespan in one go, increasing his battle prowess by 10 times. Ling Xiao heaved a sigh of relief. Fortunately, this old man was still a person who cherished his life. Otherwise, he would really have to invite the Divine Lord and the Demon Lord back. It's time to end the battle. Ling Xiao had gained enough experience from Yu Huajun. Ling Xiao had already memorized some of this guy's battle techniques. Of course, the key was that Ling Xiao was worried that this guy would convert all of his lifespan into battle prowess. At that time, it would be difficult to end the battle. Therefore, it was safer to end the battle as soon as possible. Ling Xiao, Golden Prince, Kaidai Saintus, and Dong Huangyu. Haha, if you're alive, you'll only cause chaos in the 4 regions and 9 worlds. Today, I'll enforce justice on behalf of the heavens and kill all of you, not leaving a single one alive. Yu Huajun sneered. Don't flatter yourself. A bunch of F*** people are guarding outside the world of dead souls, but they don't know that there's a dead soul emperor scheming inside. Just you? I'm afraid the 4 regions and 9 worlds will be destroyed. Ling Xiao curled his lips, and the Ghost King's sword in his hand was replaced by the Void God sword. Yu Huajun saw Ling Xiao change his sword, but he did not care. He could not see the dragon patterns on the Void God sword. Therefore, other than the sword's ferocious appearance, he did not feel anything special about it. So he did not care. Ha, is that so? Then, have a taste of my Black Sun disaster. Behind Yu Huajun, the golden sun turned black. A terrifying storm began to blow ferociously. I have to stop him. Ling Xiao held the Void God sword in his right hand. 11 ferocious jade hands appeared behind him. At the same time, he pointed with his left hand. Void shattering finger, shatter space. The space where Yu Huajun was suddenly shattered like a mirror. But Yu Huajun did not die because of this. During the accumulation of his Black Sun disaster, he could actually resist the divine power of the Void shattering finger. The space shattered extremely slowly, and even showed signs of recovering. However, this was not a problem, because Ling Xiao did not expect the Void shattering finger to kill Yu Huajun. His left hand clenched into a fist again. He punched out, Cosmic Divine Fist. Time stop! Time stopped at that moment. Yu Huajun had no time to react. At the same time, the real killing move that Ling Xiao had prepared was unleashed. The Void God sword released the 11th level sword chi of the 12 divine beasts technique. Like a bloodthirsty beast, it turned into a huge Taotai and passed through Yu Huajun's body. The Black Sun disaster came to an abrupt end. Even Yu Huajun's essence was completely absorbed by the Void God sword. The dignified Yu Hua divine sect master had died. He had completely disappeared from this world. In the end, there was not even a scream. I still haven't advanced. Holding the Void God's sword, Ling Xiao sighed. As expected, the Void God's sword still needed to kill stronger warriors. This was far from enough. After putting away Yu Huajun's storage ring, Ling Xiao did not look at it. No matter how rich the things inside were, they could not compare to what Ling Xiao had brought back from the space-time corridor. There were hundreds of warriors of the same level as Yu Huajun, or even stronger, who had turned into bones, leaving only storage rings behind. He turned his head to look. The demon Lord Ling Xiao had finished his battle. The divine Lord Ling Xiao had finished his battle. Xiao Jin had also completely gained the upper hand. The same went for Cold Plum. Dong Huang Yu had broken through to the half-step divine body realm in the middle of the battle. She had finally killed her opponent. Everyone read M. Chapter 46-33. Yu Huajun's death brought a great shock to the two old men of Yu Hua divine sect. Their shock gave Xiao Jin and Cold Plum an opportunity. Don't kill them, let me do it. Ling Xiao raised the Void God sword and leapt forward. He killed the two severely wounded old men. Although the Void God sword hadn't broken through, its energy had obviously become stronger. Perhaps if he killed a few more of these experts, it would break through for real. With the death of the two old men, Yu Hua divine sect was basically finished. Even if they were struggling at death's door, they wouldn't be able to cause any more trouble. All divine physique realm warriors were killed. All core fragmentation realm warriors were killed. Were they going to rely on ordinary divine core warriors to revive their sect? Furthermore, most of Yu Hua divine sect's treasures and properties were in the hands of these 7 divine physique realm warriors. Now, all of them had fallen into Ling Xiao's hands. The third strongest power in the chaotic sand ocean was gone just like that. They wouldn't be able to cause any more trouble. Boss, this feels so good. If people were to find out that even a big shot like Yu Huajun was killed by us, we would really become famous. Xiao Jin laughed. Although this victory was a little difficult for him and Cold Plum, the harder the victory, the more beneficial it was. Ling Xiao's harvest was great as well. Not only did he get a huge amount of properties and treasures, he also got a lot of rare pills and cultivation techniques. If he brought these things back, the Battle Alliance's strength would definitely increase greatly in a short period of time. Of course, more importantly, his cultivation base was about to break through again. Although this battle wasn't a difficult one, the Heart of Gold was able to absorb his opponent's combat experience. It increased the energy in Ling Xiao's cultivation, C, by 30%. This speed was off the charts. This is nothing. We still have something bigger to do. Ling Xiao smiled. Killing Yu Huajun was just the first step. Next, he had to go to the Patriarch Assembly. He knew what awaited him there. But there was no reason for him to be afraid, because he needed to be stronger. He wanted to obtain Yu Fenghua openly and avenge his father in this life. One must have the strength to defeat the Eternal Emperor. The Eternal Emperors were the strongest existences in the 4 regions and 9 worlds. The Holy Master of the Heaven Holy Land and the Beast Emperor of the Savage Beast region. The Golden Emperor of the Golden Sky domain and the Flame Emperor of the Raging Flame astral boundary were no match for him. The others were even worse off. As for Wang Quan and Tianming, he no longer cared about them. That person had no right to compete with him. For Yu Fenghua, if you know what's good for you, take the initiative to withdraw. If they had to fight to the death, he would definitely make the other party regret it. Let's go to the Patriarch Society. You guys stay in the Dongsheng Emperor Ring. If it's necessary, I'll ask you to come out and help. Go and comprehend the benefits you gained from this battle. Ling Xiao put Xiao Jin and the others into the Dongsheng Emperor Ring and walked towards the Patriarch Society. He didn't care if the other forces bullied him or even opposed him. What he cared about now was the attitude of the Golden Sky region. Hopefully, he wouldn't be disappointed. After all, he still had deep feelings for the Golden Firmament. Inside the tower where the core of the Board of Patriarchs was located, many experts and geniuses from the 4 regions and 9 worlds had gathered. They were waiting for news from Yu Huajun. In the corridor outside the 10th floor of the tower, Bai Yinzalong looked into the distance anxiously. This time he had obtained a lot of benefits from the world of souls. But at the same time, his mentality had undergone a huge change. He used to be proud and self-righteous. He thought that other than Huang Jinlan and Yang Shui, no one in the Golden Sky region was worthy of his admiration. However, Ling Xiao's appearance caused him to completely change his mind. Ling Xiao was the most brilliant star of this era. He used to look down on this young man. But now, there was only admiration and anticipation in his heart. Hearing that the Board of Patriarchs had actually sent people from the Yu Hua Divine sect to capture Ling Xiao, and regardless of life or death, he was extremely anxious. He wanted to help, but he was stopped by the people of the other 3 regions and 9 worlds. They didn't let the martial artists of the Golden Sky region leave this place. Even the Board of Patriarchs of the Golden City were trapped here. No matter how strong the Board of Patriarchs of the Golden City was, they couldn't fight against the other 12 Board of Patriarchs. Now they could only wait. Suddenly Yinlong became excited, because he caught sight of a figure in his eyes. That figure was extremely fast, shuttling through the streets like a ghost, and his target was the high tower here. He activated his vital essence and condensed it in his eyes, looking carefully. Only then did he realize that it was an extremely confident and domineering figure. He ran as if he was taking a stroll, but he was astonishingly fast. What kind of movement technique is it? It's so terrifying. Until now, Yinlong still hadn't seen that person's appearance clearly. He only felt that the other party was extremely fast, and it seemed to be a young man. Finally, that person arrived near the White Tower, and Yinlong saw his face clearly. There was a confident and domineering smile on that face, as if he was here to denounce him. Ling Xiao. Yinlong was shocked. Ling Xiao's speed was obviously much faster than before. He almost couldn't see him clearly. Run! Baiyin Zilong shouted at the people below. Ling Xiao stopped in his tracks and looked up at the silver dragon. He actually revealed a sunny smile at the silver dragon. I'm not running. This was his answer. Obviously, he heard Yinlong's words clearly, but he didn't have the intention to run. In the 4 regions and 9 worlds, Golden Sky region was once a giant and absolute overlord. But their strength had been declining over the years, and they had fallen from the top to 4th or 5th place. And they were still declining. Because of this, Golden Sky region's martial artists were ridiculed. Even if they were ranked lower than Golden Sky region, at least they were constantly rising. Only Golden Sky region was getting worse year by year. Therefore, many true geniuses would choose Eternal Emperor region, Heaven's Sacred Ground, and Savage Beast region, or Inferno Astral region. They wouldn't choose Golden Sky region. However, Golden Sky region's martial artists had shocked the entire 4 regions and 9 worlds in this trip to the world of death. They had suffered the least loss. They had obtained the most treasures. This made the 4 regions and 9 worlds focus their attention on Golden Sky region. The Golden Sky region's Patriarch Society also felt great pressure. The moment they heard the news, they had already contacted Golden City through special means, requesting backup. They couldn't give away the treasures they obtained. But if they didn't, others wouldn't be satisfied. There would definitely be a fight. Therefore, they had to find help. Next, it was up to the heavens. If help came in time, everything would naturally be solved. After all, no matter how weak Golden Sky region was, a starving camel was still bigger than a horse. Other than Eternal Emperor region, no other force dared to say they could win against Golden Sky region. If they really fought, everyone would suffer great losses. Moreover, even if there were many treasures in the world of death, it wouldn't make the 4 regions and 9 worlds go to war. Everyone was just certain that Golden City wouldn't dare to start a war with other forces for Ling Xiao's protection. Therefore, they wanted to get some benefits. Chapter 4634. Most of these forces were just here to watch the show. Only the Deep Sea Dragon realm was trying the hardest to find trouble with the Golden Firmament region. The other forces more or less had people who survived. Only the Deep Sea Dragon realm team was completely wiped out, and someone saw Ling Xiao kill the people of the Deep Sea Dragon realm. In addition, Ling Xiao had a grudge with the Deep Sea Dragon realm in the past, so this grudge was formed. They even cried and shouted for the Patriarch Society to uphold justice and kill Ling Xiao. They also wanted to compensate for their losses. To put it bluntly, they still wanted Ling Xiao's treasures. The martial artists of the Golden City actually knew what happened, but the people of the Deep Sea Dragon Realm didn't believe them at all. He even turned around and accused them of being protective of their own people. This made the people of the Golden Firmament region very angry. Both sides were now in a confrontation. No one was willing to admit their mistake. At this moment, a figure entered the tower. For the sake of the treasures, the tower didn't even have a guard today. They all ran in to watch the show. Everything was not normal anymore. If there was trouble, the Patriarch Society would probably be finished. The one who came in was naturally Ling Xiao. Anyway, it's useless for your Golden Firmament region to protect your own people. There are the 7 experts of the Jade Flower sect. Ling Xiao will definitely not be able to escape this time. An elder of the Deep Sea Dragon Realm sneered. You guys are really shameless. Are you planning to start a war with my Golden Firmament region? The elder sent by the Golden Firmament region to the Patriarch Society. He was a kind old man named Bailey Fingxing. His hair and beard were all white. He usually had a good temper and didn't like to cause trouble. But today he was truly infuriated. Elder Bailey, why are you angry? I think your Golden Firmament region won't go against our Deep Sea Dragon Realm for an unknown kid. Besides, even if that Ling Xiao is dead, the one who killed him is the Jade Flower sect. It has nothing to do with our Deep Sea Dragon Realm. The Deep Sea Dragon Realm's elder sneered. I'm afraid you guys will be disappointed. Suddenly a cold snort sounded. Everyone turned to the source of the voice. Many people didn't recognize Ling Xiao at first. After all, most of the people here had only heard of Ling Xiao's name and didn't know what Ling Xiao looked like. Brat, who do you think you are? How dare you behave so atrociously here? Deep Sea Dragon prisoner sneered. Senior Yuan, he's Ling Xiao. Finally, someone shouted. After all, there were still warriors who came out of the world of souls alive. It was normal for him to recognize Ling Xiao. Upon hearing that this kid was Ling Xiao, everyone in the Deep Sea Dragon Realm was shocked. No, to be exact, apart from the Golden Sky region, the people from the other 12 forces were all looking at Ling Xiao. It exuded an intimidating aura. It looked like he was going to denounce him. Ling Xiao, I'm sorry. Someone in our team let it slip. In the end, Scarlet Sea and Devil Ape, those 2 bastards, spread the news. He even fabricated some groundless things. I was going to kill those 2 bastards. Who knew that they would side with the Eternal Emperor's region? White Silver Dragon prisoner sighed. Scarlet Sea, Devil Ape. Hee, they're just 2 clowns. Ling Xiao still remembered those 2. They were only at the 1st or 2nd stage of the Shattered Core Realm. They actually dared to betray him. Did they think that no one would dare to kill them after they joined the Eternal Emperor's region? Senior Yuan. Does this happen often in the Senior Yuan Society? 12 Senior Yuan Society actually joined forces to deal with 1 Senior Yuan Society? If that's the case, the Senior Yuan Society should have ceased to exist long ago, right? Ling Xiao asked with a frown. They naturally wouldn't dare. However, they must have received the tacit approval of their respective forces. Only then would they have the guts. The Senior Yuan Society exists to plunder resources in the chaotic desert ocean. Now that they've suffered losses, they must be unwilling to accept it. Bailey Fingxing sighed. Ling Xiao, I didn't expect you to escape the pursuit of Yu Hua sect. How did that idiot Yu Huajun do it? No one believed that Ling Xiao had killed Yu Huajun. Naturally, everyone thought that Ling Xiao had used some sort of method to avoid the encirclement of Yu Hua divine religion. It's useless even if he avoided them. They're all from the 4 regions and 9 worlds. How shameless of him to kill his own people, plundering the treasures. How shameful. If we don't kill him today, we won't be able to appease the anger of the commoners. Kill him. He escaped Yu Huajun's pursuit and still dared to return to the Senior Yuan Society. This brat is fearless. Everyone spoke one after another as if they were injected with chicken blood. Not only did they want Ling Xiao's treasures, but they also wanted to kill Yu Huajun. They wanted to avenge the martial artists of their forces by killing Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao laughed. He stood there and looked coldly at the room full of people. He laughed in disdain. Ling Xiao, you still dare to laugh. One of them said angrily, You don't know how to repent after killing someone. Do you know that you've committed a heinous crime? Even if Huang Jindi comes personally, he won't be able to save your life. These guys completely disregarded the feelings of the Golden Sky region and directly convicted Ling Xiao of a crime. It seemed that they felt that they didn't have to fear the Golden Sky region if they joined forces. Heinous crime? Why don't I know about it? Ling Xiao chuckled and said, Why don't you tell me about it? You're playing dumb. The person who accused Ling Xiao of a crime sneered and said, The purpose of the Senior Yuan Society's activity this time is to let everyone work together to seize the treasures. But you actually killed the disciples of the 4 regions and 9 worlds. You've committed a heinous crime. That's not all. You obtained the treasures and refused to hand them over. That's the second punishment. Even if you die 100 times, it'll be enough. Hee, you said that I killed the martial artists of the 4 regions and 9 worlds. Where's the evidence? As for the treasures, even if I hand them over, I'll hand them over to the Golden City. What does it have to do with you? Your disciples are useless and came here to make a fool of themselves? Ling Xiao chuckled, but there was a hint of coldness in his laughter. The evidence is simple. Qi Hai and the demonic ape have already admitted it. Do you still want to deny it? That person asked. That's even more laughable. Those 2 trash didn't even go to the world of dead souls. Is their testimony useful? Ling Xiao mocked. But they learned it from the members of the Golden Sky region. That person said again. Who said that? Ling Xiao looked behind him. At this time, a martial artist walked out and said, I was just bragging. Those 2 idiots took it seriously. They showed it off as if they had obtained a treasure. There's actually an idiot who used this as evidence. You all heard that? Ling Xiao mocked. This is your so-called evidence? What a joke. Nothing else to say? It seems that you don't want to take revenge. The only thing you want to do is to become enemies with the Golden Sky region. Start a war with the 4 regions and 9 worlds, right? Do you want the Deep Sea Dragon realm to disappear? Ling Xiao narrowed his eyes, which were as sharp as a knife stabbing at the people of the Deep Sea Dragon realm. This guy is too talkative, isn't he? With just a few words, he actually made the people of the Deep Sea Dragon realm speechless. Those guys don't dare to start a war. I'm afraid that today's matter will end here, right? Bai Fan looked at Black Peak and asked, Chapter 46:35. It's useless. No matter how powerful your mouth is, it still depends on your strength. If you're not strong enough, not only will the people from the Deep Sea Dragon realm find trouble with him, the other forces will also find trouble with him. Black Peak shook his head. Bai Fan was still too naive. In this world, strength was the most important. Whoever was strong enough had the right to speak. Otherwise, it would be nonsense. Just as Black Peak finished speaking, Deep Sea Dragon Realm's elder, Deep Sea Qiulong sneered. No matter how eloquent your tongue is, don't even think about escaping today. You have to confess, whether you want to or not. Haha, old fart, are you threatening me? Ling Xiao mocked. If it was before, Ling Xiao might be afraid of this idiot. But now, there was no need for him to be afraid. Bastard, how dare you say that elders are old farts? Simply disgraceful. The person from the Deep Sea Dragon realm who convicted Ling Xiao earlier roared. So what if I say he's old fart? You can convict people as you wish, but I can't scold people? What a joke! Ling Xiao said disdainfully, Probably because the martial artists from the Golden Skies region are too kind, causing the kind to be bullied. Now, I'll give you a chance to get lost. Otherwise, I'll kill everyone from the deep sea dragon realm today, not leaving anyone alive. Crazy, arrogant, awesome, unparalleled arrogance. In front of 13 elders, he actually said that he would kill all the martial artists from the deep sea dragon realm. Other than Ling Xiao, there was probably no one else. Even Elder Bailey Fengxing didn't dare to say that. Haha, I'd like to see how you'll kill the martial artists from the deep sea dragon realm. A martial artist walked out of the crowd. He wasn't an elder, but a genius martial artist from the deep sea dragon realm. Half-step, divine body realm, cultivation. He probably didn't believe that Ling Xiao could kill a divine body realm martial artist. That was why he dared to stand out. Otherwise, he wouldn't dare even if he had 100 guts. You overestimate yourself. Ling Xiao sneered, then raised his right hand. He stretched out a finger. Void-shattering finger, beyond the void. This was the first level of void-shattering finger. The most terrifying thing about it was its attack speed. It could transcend the void and not be bound by space. In that instant, a ray of light shot out from his fingertip. He pointed at the person who spoke. That person did not react at all. This finger shot right between his eyebrows. Then it came out from the back of his head. Even his soul was instantly killed. Someone actually made such a strange request. How despicable. Ling Xiao didn't even look at it as he pointed his finger out. He just sneered. There was actually someone who wanted to die. Then he would fulfill her wish. In an instant, the entire place was dead silent. No one had expected Ling Xiao to be so overbearing. He actually dared to kill someone just because of a disagreement. Wasn't he afraid that the Dragon Emperor of the Deep Sea Dragon Realm would come looking for trouble? Everyone was dumbfounded. The warriors of the Deep Sea Dragon field froze in place. Although this person was not the strongest person in the Deep Sea Dragon field. He represented the Deep Sea Dragon field. He was killed just like that. How could he tolerate this? Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish today. All the martial artists of the Deep Sea Dragon field are here today, right? Haha, just nice. Ling Xiao took out the Void God sword. A terrifying aura was released from the sword. Some people even had the illusion that Ling Xiao was holding a giant beast in his hand. The Child God's blood formation. After all, the other party had more people. So Ling Xiao did not dare to be careless. He directly activated the Child God's blood formation. Then his figure suddenly disappeared. The holy ground demonic shadow was also at ease in the Child God's blood formation. Gee, there was the sound of something being pierced. Everyone turned to look. A martial artist's body was pierced by Ling Xiao's long sword and instantly turned into a dried corpse. Whoosh! Whoosh! Every time Ling Xiao appeared, he would take away 1 or 2 martial artists. There were no fancy moves. All of them were normal attacks with the Void God sword. Since someone had come to help his Void God sword improve its strength, why wouldn't he be happy about it? During the attack, Ling Xiao deliberately avoided divine body realm martial artists. He started with the weak. These people did not have the ability to resist at all. Moreover, Ling Xiao appeared and disappeared like a ghost. They could not catch him at all. In the Child God's blood formation, they were uneasy and terrified. For the first time, they felt fear. The martial artist from the Golden Heavenly Domain was also stunned, including Elder Bailey Fengxing. He heard some things about Ling Xiao from the White Silver Dragon. He already had a higher opinion of Ling Xiao. However, seeing Ling Xiao attack today, he was still shocked. Not to mention other things. Just the Child God's blood formation alone was a divine skill that could fight against many. Stop! Deep Sea Imprisoned Dragon shouted. Ling Xiao's figure appeared and looked at him. Why? Elder Bailey, have you thought it through now? Kid, aren't you afraid of revenge for killing the Deep Sea Dragon region martial artists like this? Deep sea imprisoned dragon roared. Revenge? Haha, is that all you want to say? If you're done, can I continue? Ling Xiao mocked. Kid die. Just as Ling Xiao and Deep Sea Imprisoned Dragon were talking, two first-level Divine Body realm martial artists suddenly attacked from both sides. A hint of ruthlessness flashed past Ling Xiao's eyes. He originally thought that this was the end. As long as the other party was willing to apologize, he would just scram. However, the other party actually set him up like this. Then, he would not be polite anymore. Dragon God's ice formation. A huge formation suddenly appeared. It was freezing cold. The temperature in the entire formation space plummeted. The two first-level Divine Body realm martial artists attacking Ling Xiao actually slowed down instantly. It was as if their bodies were about to freeze. One must know that this Dragon God's ice formation had even tricked the Ghost Fire King, who was at the second-level Divine Body realm, not to mention the first-level Divine Body realm. Die. Ling Xiao did not use any other moves. He still stabbed out with the Void God Sword. The Void God Sword was an Emperor weapon with 10 dragon patterns. Killing first-level Divine Body realm martial artists was like slaughtering dogs. The two first-level Divine Body realm martial artists were still nervously defrosting. They had already been stabbed by the Void God Sword. At this moment, the Deep Sea Imprisoned Dragon defrosted and charged over. However, Ling Xiao had already sucked their bodies dry and used the Sect's golden light to escape. The Deep Sea Imprisoned Dragon could only stare, helplessly. There was nothing he could do. They were completely killed by you. Ling Xiao looked coldly at the Deep Sea Imprisoned Dragon and said, Originally, I only wanted an apology. However, you guys forced me to do so. You can't blame me. Kill. Ocean God Yellow Springs Formation. Ling Xiao felt that killing was too slow. He directly released the rolling yellow springs. All the martial artists who were touched by it had their bones corroded and their souls eroded, instantly turning into the yellow spring. Those who managed to survive were only Divine Body realm martial artists. The rest were all killed. Stop! Quickly stop! The Deep Sea Imprisoned Dragon shouted in horror. What tricks are you playing this time? Ling Xiao asked contemptuously. What exactly do you want for you to spare them? The Deep Sea Imprisoned Dragon asked. Kneel down and apologize. Perhaps I can consider it. Ling Xiao smiled. You've gone too far. The Deep Sea Imprisoned Dragon roared angrily. Asking him to kneel down and apologize was only a consideration. Without a definite answer, wasn't it obvious that he was toying with him? You're tuning in to the Thunder Spear YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.